You hear that?
Yep. Smash the like button. Goodbye.
Hail to all.
A little bit of memory lane in there.
Yeah.
Hail to all. How's everyone doing? How'd you like that? A little bit of intro there. Yeah, a little bit of red, white, and blue.
That was a cool intro.
It was very cool. I think that should be the intro. I feel like I witnessed the birth of that introduction. I feel so privileged.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And Wes watched me go through it. Cheers, by the way. And it was that's really cool, Final.
Hey, we're all ghosts now.
Yeah, we're all ghosts. Yeah. I'm going through the time warp. This is the background. This is the background from Bill and Ted.
Oh, awesome. So Wes got to watch me put that mix together. It was originally 5 songs, so I took the 5th song out because timing didn't work. And normally it takes me a little bit longer, but I was really feeling it and I was really into it. And yeah, it took me less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, it really did, man. You put it together in no time flat, and listen to the results. That's a very
I was a little bit shocked at how fast I put it together. Yeah,
it's pretty good. I think it should be the theme song. Honestly, I think it's that good.
Well, yeah, it is. It's really good intro too. Like the movement of the whole movement of the each of the screens. Yeah. It's very cool.
Yeah.
What did you use for that? What program did you use for that?
Wait a minute.
Let me see here. It is MixPad multi-track recording software.
Oh, that's cool. And it has you can do like a video to it too.
No, it's straight up music. It's
a music mixer.
Yeah. It's by NCH Software.
It looks a lot like Audacity, so I think you could probably do something similar to that in Audacity. It's very similar. It looked very similar how it worked.
I would probably have to. They probably have the video software as well, but I already have Cyberlink for that, and I have Flashback Express for screen recording. Honestly, Flashback Express works really good for screen recording.
Toxic Man Flu. What are the walls of a cat house under blacklight? Because what do you mean, like all like it's all been.
Hail to Snowdub gave me a shout out. Also, I want to give a shout out to Bowles Trek. He's out in the town having some fun.
Hail Bowles Trek.
Hail Bowles Trek.
Tip of the hat to you. Tip of the hat to you.
I got no hat on.
I don't have one close. I usually have it.
Don't either. I've got my Star Wars here though.
So yeah,
I like your
Snowdub may join us after his live stream.
Oh, sweet.
The TV, yeah, it is pretty cool.
I like your TV. That's a really cool effect there you got. That's cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I started it on a video game stream, and people love it, man, and I love it, so I'm going to keep it.
See, what is it? Just it's what? How do you? What is it? It's not a PD or a JPEG or anything, is it? With the
it started out as a JPEG, and then I ran it through Photoshop, and I used the lasso tool.
I cut out the middle.
I cut out the middle, and then it was like one of those huge ass like wooden floor TVs, and I realized that wasn't going to work, so I cut all around it to where you can just see the wood on the bottom, and it looks like just a normal small TV.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. It has that nostalgic kind of. It has authority.
Yep, it's unique. Yeah.
Thank you. R says the TV is awesome. Thank you, RR.
Parrothead says it looks like you're hiding in the dark.
No, I'm from a different dimension. They buried. They built my house on an Indian burial ground, and
Yeah, it's very. Yeah, can you reach your hand outside of it?
I can.
Yeah, there you go. It's like a poltergeist.
Yeah, living by a burial ground. Ooh, I don't know about that.
Is that the house in Poltergeist? It was buried on, or is built on top of an Indian burial ground, right?
There's all kinds of weird little things around that whole movie and all that, and some.
Ooh, we could do a conspiracy show on that. The strange deaths just surrounding that show. That movie.
Yeah, well, we'll probably save that one for your channel for the.
Which one, Poltergeist?
Yeah. I don't know.
There's some hardcore stuff involved that happened with that particular movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Someday, we don't want to cover that here.
I'll cover it on my channel.
Hail, Mikhail Wolf. How you doing?
Hail, Mikhail.
Hail, Mikhail. Hail, Mikhail. Mikhail's hail.
Welcome, my friend.
So Unified Aerial Phenomena did a UFO thing, and Mysteries Unexplained. Didn't they cover the same thing?
Mysteries Unexplained.
Because I got one because they put part of Tucker's video in there with the UFOs that he covered.
Oh, Tucker, yeah.
I thought I found another one of it besides Tucker, because I put so many in the chat there. All right.
Oh, yep, yeah, they did block my stream today. I was doing a Patreon only thing, and I was being nice. I was covering Becoming by Michelle Obama, the Netflix. I was doing a live reaction to that, and they kept continually blocking me, even though I was only showing short clips of it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I heard
when I show mainstream media sources and those sources, that's when I seem to get the most attention.
Yeah.
I was reading in one of the UFO threads that somebody was covering one of the UFOs and their live stream got yanked.
What?
Yeah.
Were they using like Tucker Carlson footage?
I don't think it was that one. But we will take a look at that now.
They're, yeah, I don't know if it's an algorithm. It's got to be, right? Because how can they keep track of all these channels? Everyone that's live, they don't have that much work for it. It's got to be an algorithm.
See, I'm gonna kill the sound, and I'll let the UFO things play.
Okay.
See, there they are, right there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I covered this on Conspiracy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this was what, the USS? It was a Navy ship, right?
Yeah.
This is the David Fravor. Well, one of them is.
Yeah, David Fravor, right? But what was it caught? I thought was it caught by Navy? This one?
Yeah, it was a Navy plane. I think
A Navy plane. Okay. Yeah. Oh man, look at that. What the heck?
Wow. Figure I'll put that up there. Thought I had a fair use banner.
What can move like that? You think anything inside of there, unless they don't have to adhere to our physics,
Right.
you'd be smashed against the side.
I mean, start, stop. It's like
the inertia
Wow.
will kill you. It'd kill a normal person without, unless they're building their own gravitational pull somehow around the object, or if it's interdimensional, they don't have to adhere to our laws of physics. I don't know. It's crazy though, the way that they can turn like that.
Okay.
Boy, we could do a conspiracy show just on the hate mob that showed up at Tucker Carlson's house.
Oh, I didn't hear about that. What?
Oh yeah, you didn't hear about that? That was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
It might have been 3 weeks ago, actually.
I think it was a little. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely this year. Yeah, there was. And what was it? Black Lives Matter that showed up at his house. I'll have to look it up again. I've got adults on set mental retardation, so I need to. My memory is not what it used to be. Carlson hate mob house.
Yeah, that's it's defying physics. RR. That's the thing. It's any normal person would be destroyed inside of that, having our kind of laws of physics.
Well, okay, so apparently it was 2 years ago, so a year and a half ago.
Oh, okay. What? Oh, the Tucker Carlson was 2 years ago, year and a half ago.
Yeah, but
before all this happened.
Yeah, but it was Black Lives Matter is what it was.
Oh, okay.
That one just took off.
Oh yeah, and then it takes off again here.
Yeah.
Just zips away all of a sudden. Now this is interesting. Just hangs there and there. Boom. It shoots off. It disappears first, or maybe it just goes out. Look, it's gone. Then boom, you see.
Whoa!
What
the?
See how disappeared, and then. But look at this. This zoom in of these aliens. I think this is. I don't know if I don't know if I believe this one.
This is got question marks on it.
Yeah,
I mean, they disappear, like they get smaller. I don't know about this one. It's interesting, but
very.
I don't know.
Whoever put their time into this, it looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, TT. I think Bob Lazar was talking about.
The thing just disappeared.
Yeah, it goes like underneath a hill or something. The way it moves though looks a little too. It just looks a little too digital.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
TT. I think that.
I think they blended fake with real. I think that's what they did. Yeah, I think that's what they did. Because some of it looked like real UFO footage. And I think they...
Maybe where it's just hanging in the sky there. Maybe they caught something like that and then let's digitally enhance the rest of it.
Yeah,
make it a little more interesting.
Here, it almost looks like the foreground is fake.
Yeah.
And the background
is real. Yeah, that's what I think too. And even the way it lifts off it, the craft almost looks digital.
Yeah. Some CGI stuff going on.
Yeah.
And the aliens just it's like they folded themselves or something. It's just like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Wow. Hold
What
on,
do you
man.
guys think in the chat of that one? I have a hypothesis on how
Go ahead
these
and get their
UFOs.
response. I'm going to go see what my boys are doing real quick. Hold on.
Okay, I'm gonna read. Yeah, I heard one of your boys screaming. Okay, RR. Let's see. Yeah, I have a hypothesis on how these UFOs can defy Newtonian physics. If these UFOs come from quantum realm, physics have they behave differently than Einstein's theory. That's kind of what I believe too. I think these things are interdimensional, the real ones, and I think they're somehow not having to adhere to our laws of physics. I also think, but based on my belief, I think there's a spiritual aspect in this. But I mean, it's basically the same as interdimensional. Either way, they don't have to adhere to our laws of physics.
Well, it could also be what Bob Lazar was talking about, and that is that they have gravity generators that cancel the gravity, basically eliminate the gravity, and when you eliminate the gravity, it pulls the craft through. Well, it doesn't pull it, but that's a simple explanation. That with the absence of gravity, it kind of falls forward.
Yes, that is another possibility of how maybe like the military is able to, when they're trying to what do you call it? Not disassemble, reverse engineer these crafts. I think Bear, when you had George on, he was talking about that. He was kind of giving us an explanation of how this stuff sort of could be possible using our technology. He kind of basically described what you're describing, where you're not so much pulled, but for lack of a better explanation, because he explained it a lot more technical than I understood it, but the basic gist was what you were saying. It kind of pulls you through.
Yeah, for sure. Let me see something here.
Yeah.
Unmanned craft. Well, I don't know. With thrust vectoring, could that account for those movements?
Vectoring.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a pilot to worry about, passing out or.
Yeah, if there was no one inside. I mean, it's definitely intelligently piloted, but it doesn't necessarily mean that someone has to be inside of it, I guess. Yeah, I mean, look at our drones. Think of a really, really highly advanced drone. Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility too. But then I would say if that's the case, why are these things so big? If there's no pilot, why make them so large? Because, it seems like a lot of wasted space if you don't have to worry about beings inside of it.
Yeah, definitely some.
I'm getting a weird Videodrome vibe for my TV around me right now.
I was going to say Videodrome too. I was going to use that. When we said Poltergeist, I thought of Videodrome.
Max Headroom.
Yeah. All hail the new flesh.
Oh, that's a cool movie. Weird but cool, and also Blondie.
Yeah. Well, they had some
Deborah
great
Harry.
movies back in the day.
Quantum
Yeah,
Mechanics
great
would
one.
explain the
Weird.
movie
Yeah.
as well as how the ships just.
Cronenberg, he did the Fly remake, didn't he?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Boy, that was a
Yeah,
great.
he did.
That's a classic movie right there.
Oh man, yeah. Goldblum in his early stages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen the trailer to Greyhound?
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh man, it looks good. Tom Hanks is in the movie. He plays the captain of the fleet, and it's a fleet that's trying to get past the German U-boats, World War II, and it looks pretty good. It does look good.
Oh, great train. What?
Who? What?
I'm sorry. What's it called? Greyhound.
Greyhound. Yeah.
Greyhound.
And he commands a fleet, and he's bringing supplies, I think, and transporting men.
Is it coming out in the theater? Or is this on streaming?
It hasn't been released yet, but it's getting ready to be released soon. I think it might be streaming, possibly.
Okay.
Because I was watching something on YouTube, and a couple trailers for a couple movies popped up. Hail, Mortar Coil. How you doing?
How the fuck are you guys
Hey,
doing?
what's up, Immortal?
Hey, man. How's it
What
going?
is this thing hovering the field? What's we got going on?
Oh yeah, play it
What?
for him. Let's get his take on it.
Well, it looks like it looks like something that is very definitely faked.
Yeah, that's what we were saying too.
We're
Yeah.
thinking this part is the real part. We're thinking it's blended with fake and with real.
It's like two different videos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he doesn't when whoever's filming it's running through the field, you don't see him stop and pan out. It like cuts to a different video.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you think you'd be able to if it went up straight in the sky, you'd be keeping your camera. You wouldn't have stopped it.
Well, okay, because Death Star and I were talking about a possibly authentic scene. These things look highly suspect to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we come to the same conclusion.
Even these little alien creatures here look too digital. The way they move,
No.
it doesn't
Yeah,
look.
It
I don't
looks
like the edge of that thing either. It looks a little too
manipulated.
congruent. Yeah.
And look the way he's gonna fold down here in a minute and disappear. It just like that.
They just got a boom, like real.
Like I just laid down real quick and did the
Yeah.
the breakdance move.
And then that just doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't look. It looks like CG.
Yeah, we
Breakdance move. That's
we
hilarious.
think that this part here is probably
That
from a
could have
real.
been something. Yeah, that could have been something real.
Yeah, we got some.
And they
other
just
stuff.
fake the. Yeah, what's the first one we watched?
It's Voyagers, the remake. The aliens got our pop culture. You know, they're remaking it, and instead of the 50s, they're seeing breakdancing. That's what it is.
They're breakdancing.
Dude, Wes, you look like a fucking 80s mutt coming out of your transistor tube.
Oh, that is trippy. Your hand came out of the TV screen.
And Death Star, you're at, like the nexus where the fucking black holes are recently discovered. Yeah.
I know, right?
He's in the movie The Black Hole from the one, the Maximilian Schell one from the early 80s.
You got the Odin beard right now.
I know the blue.
Let's go back. Yeah. Yes.
This was the first one that we covered.
The fucking Ted Koppel. No, the Navy video. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the one that the Navy was forced to, and they clandestinely tried to change how we say UFO. They want them to say UAE.
Oh, really?
You know that stands for bear? Bear?
UAP, right?
I know A stands for autonomous.
So it's unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what they're calling them now instead of UFOs.
It's like, get it right. That's what the fucking Navy says. Get it right.
Right. It's like, if you're going to call them this and we're going to admit that it's real, then let's call it by the name we've been calling it.
And you see how a fighter jet is struggling to track this.
Oh, yeah.
He's about to go into a flat spin. Yeah. And where is he? Antarctica? Like he's chilling around some ice cubes. What's going on?
Oh, well, if it's Antarctica, wouldn't that be ironic? Everything seems to be weird down in Antarctica. That's all show in and of itself.
I think Michio Kaku does something on the same one. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Here.
Hey, V-Star, what's going
Tipping
on?
point.
Welcome.
You see, the burden of proof.
Yeah, I don't want to play the.
I'm a gatekeeper.
Yep.
All right. Let's go to the footage.
Well, to his credit, though, he's the only guy that covers this stuff on the mainstream media.
That is true.
No shit.
You know, everyone else stays away from it, but he's the only one that's covers this stuff.
Well, you
It's
know
like
what?
Asian Doc Brown.
Yeah, pretty much.
Agent Doc Brown, yeah. That's funny.
120 kilometers per hour.
1.47 gigawatts.
21 gigawatts. I'm sure in 1984 plutonium can be bought on every street corner, but in 1955 it's a little harder to come by.
I don't know. Just tuck your gigawatt back into your.
Taking it and I'm putting it back in my TV
So
set.
this is USO. This is a. Okay, this is CNN being a dickhead.
Yeah.
Who is this guy?
I have no idea. I don't watch CNN. I haven't watched CNN probably since 1999, maybe.
Okay, so I am firm and hard that the Navy video is real. And I don't know who the fuck these talking heads are, but like when you look at the Navy pilot, like you can see the telemetry, you can see him talking if you have the original source.
Right.
You got this thing that's like evading capture. Like you can't shoot a missile at this thing. It's nothing that conforms to earthbound. Yeah.
It basically skirts our physics, basically.
Yeah.
They have their own physics going on for sure.
As well as our efforts to floss our teeth. I don't know who's making that noise, but you know, yeah. Same thing.
It
Which
sounds
one
like
you
a
want?
spray paint can shaking to me, but
Oh, yeah.
I know, shit. How you been, Wes? What you been up to, man?
just been doing. What the hell just happened?
I don't know. I think this one's fake. This one's definitely fake.
This is interesting when you see it close up because it's behind the buildings. Can you see it through the tree bare? See if you can rewind and pause it when it's behind the trees. See if it's still
What
there.
the hell is going on here? I don't know about this one, but
Okay, right there.
I'm
you
looking
can see it behind the trees,
Okay, it's behind the tree.
which is
I'm
interesting.
I'm looking for moisture displacement is what I'm looking for.
The fact that you can see it through the trees is interesting. It doesn't disappear. It's still there. That's hard to.
No, it's the central fucking plate element, and they're like doing a shaky cam.
Well, they're
Bullshit.
driving in the car.
That looks totally fake.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with not
Fake
buying
as
that
fuck.
one.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, you know it is
It's like the
weird.
Millennium Falcon or something. Really bad Millennium Falcon.
oh, I've seen this before. This was floating around a few years back.
No, and we're gonna. What
It's
a piece
it's
of junk!
Snow Dub is asking how long we're going to be on.
Oh, we just started. So
Fucking pull your ass up here, man.
Another 6 hours and 2 minutes, Snow Dub.
Can everyone hear me, by the way?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Is my voice distorted? That's by design.
It is not.
no,
Oh, all right.
Oh,
Are you kidding?
we all know who you
it is
are.
not.
No, it's not. It sounds normal.
We know you're not Doomcock now.
Well,
though.
I don't know how you usually sound though, so it could be depending on your normal voice.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have a really high
do
pitched
their
voice?
own Doomcock. It's like Doomcock.
StreamYards is a little bit different. Yeah, you can't run it through. Well, wait, we streamed. Wait,
Okay.
StreamYards and it was.
Zoom in on that. That might look. No. Play it again.
All right, so 29 minutes. Might want to edit that part out. For when Sentinel comes back, you can do that on YouTube.
I don't know, Death Star. That looks.
Now the only thing. Oh, this one here.
Yeah.
That I'm going to say
There's
this.
another one that looks more like what I saw. We'll get to that. But this is this is interesting.
I don't know. That looks a little too. Well, we'll let everybody else talk.
Let's see here. There's one. Let me see. I think I have another one similar to this.
I don't like the angle, man. That's the only thing I noticed.
Hey everybody, does it sound distorted now?
Yes.
You sound like an FBI witness.
Now
Stop.
that's
You sound like
definitely-
Doomcock
Yeah.
now. Yes, it is distorted.
All right, thank you. That's by design.
That's good. I like that.
All right, that is very cool. Is that not cool? The hell,
Yeah, that's cool.
like the best thing ever.
What are you using? Just a filter?
No, I'm using a sound card plugged into the that goes through the microphone and then goes into my computer microphone port.
Oh, okay.
I tried using an application, but it was stressing my computer out too much.
Hmm.
So I just had to think of a way to bypass that. And a sound card is just a perfect alternative.
Can you say Harvey Cthulhu for us?
Harvey Cthulhu.
Yeah, say, God damn it, Harvey, don't press the button.
God damn it, Harvey! Don't press the button.
You sound like an evil Doomcock.
That was fucking awesome. Wow, man, I think our
This is interesting. This looks like a comet or something.
Devonport, Australia.
May 22nd, 2020.
522.
This looks like a mole.
that looks
It just looks like an asteroid.
does look like an asteroid.
Yeah, looks like an asteroid to me.
Yeah, you can see parts break off of it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an asteroid.
Yeah.
The asteroid shouldn't go up and down though. Look at
Yeah,
that.
well, depends on what the wind currents are. The wind currents change with each elevation.
Right.
But I've seen one of those before.
Hmm.
Well, now it's slow. Is it slowed down? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Like it.
Could it be the angle that it's entering the Earth's atmosphere?
Maybe. But it was going parallel for quite a while.
That is suspicious. I'm still leaning toward
Because it went up, down, and then going straight across for a little while. It started going down a little more.
That is suspect.
Yeah. Basically, it should just be continually going down, and there should be sparks coming off of it.
Well, but you can tell, like, it's not changing vector. It's not doing nothing wild. This is a... No, that's a camera fucking shaking thing. So, yeah, that's a meteorite.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It is. It really is.
Pretty. Yeah. What's your next one?
Let's see.
So I'm just curious here, since we just looked at this meteor-like object, have you guys seen both Deep Impact and Armageddon?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
which is the better movie?
Well, Armageddon, I'd say, is the more exciting
Really?
movie. Yeah,
Really?
it's more exciting.
And I hate them both, but I have to go with a final. Yeah.
Really?
They're
Oh,
both
man.
terrible, but yeah.
I thought that, well, I think Armageddon is terrible, but I thought Deep Impact was a good movie, so I don't know.
I like Morgan Freeman, and his role is very good as the president in that. But Armageddon just has, it's got all the over the top action sequences. I mean, it's ridiculous, but it has all the fun. It's Bruce Willis, and it's got a good cast too. Bruce Willis, you got Liv Tyler, Ben Affleck, Steve
Billy Bob
Buscemi.
Yeah.
It's Billy Bob.
You got Robert
Fun
Duvall. You've got
Robert Duvall, yeah.
Morgan Freeman. You've got Taya
No, I
Leon.
don't think Morgan Freeman's in that. That's Deep Impact.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm saying that
the
Deep
contract.
Impact has a good cast.
Oh yeah, yeah, but they're not on an asteroid trying to blow
They
it up.
do go on an asteroid. They do. They do it twice.
And Deep Impact.
Look at this.
Yeah.
I gotta rewatch Deep Impact then. I thought they didn't. I thought there was no way to save it. Doesn't Deep Impact like they know it's gonna hit?
No, that they went to the asteroid twice on Deep Impact.
Oh, I don't remember. Okay, I'll have to rewatch it. It's been a long time. I'm more
Yeah.
familiar
I
with
think
them.
there's only two modern movies you need to see Morgan Freeman in. Is
Right there. You see that?
Yeah.
Prince of Thieves, and you got to see
Oh, I love that. movie.
Unforgiven.
Yeah.
Both those movies. Yeah.
Seven. You got to watch
7
7.
too.
Oh, Seven's good too.
Yeah.
Man, I gotta watch Deep Impact again.
Oh, and
Trust
the
me, you don't want to
Batman
look in now. Yeah, Deep
Dark
Impact.
Knight trilogy. He was good as Lucius Fox too. I gotta admit.
He was, yeah, he was a good Lucius Fox.
He actually really was a good Lucius
I mean,
Fox.
he's pretty much anything he's in, he's pretty good in. He's just one of those guys that kind of enhances every film he's in, even if it's not a great movie. He's always good in it.
Yeah.
He was in that movie that with the high school teacher too, right?
Stand by me.
No, was it
Dangerous Minds?
No, wait, hold on. I gotta look it up.
I know what
There
you're
was
talking
Stand
about.
By Me,
Yeah,
Dangerous Minds,
no,
The
no, no, no.
Substitute.
It was late 80s. Morgan, hold on. He was in it with Benson. Remember Benson?
Oh, I remember that show.
Yeah, he was the principal. Wait, maybe was that? Maybe that wasn't him. I don't know. Now I need to look. I'm looking it up.
I do know the movie you're talking about, Wes. I just can't remember it off the top of my head either.
Yeah, me neither. I have adult onset mental retardation again.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't him. Maybe that was that. I thought it was him.
High school movie? Like, are you a comedy or like one of those? Oh, comedy?
No, it was a serious movie.
It was Dangerous Minds before Dangerous Minds. I think.
Dangerous Minds before Dangerous Minds, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I'll look up Robert Guillaume because I know his discography is a lot smaller than Morgan Freeman's.
Now I've seen a green meteorite like that before.
Where was that shot?
This is highly suspect.
Australian
That's not how
Night
they
Sky.
behave. Yeah.
Lean on me. That's it. Lean on me.
Lean on me. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
all.
It was the right
Mysteries Unexplained.
You just named the wrong
He
song.
was in that. He was the principal that I'm talking about.
Yeah, Lean on Me. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We were thinking Stand By Me, but we had the wrong song.
Yeah, we did.
Highly suspect. This is not how UFOs behave, and this looks like a
this is a
chopped
meteorite.
together thing.
Oh, this is the one in Australia, right? This apparently was filmed by a lot of people. Though.
Yeah.
I don't know if we could get more footage, but I've heard.
Yeah.
I heard this thing got filmed by quite a few people.
RR is
Like
correct.
I've seen this in different angles too. Like this is not the only footage of this.
It did start with Welcome to the Jungle. It did. Yep.
What did?
Lean on Me did.
Ah. Yeah, I've actually seen a green shooting star meteorite like that when I was traveling up Highway 58 in Eastern California in the desert.
That looks like kryptonite. Came from Krypton.
Yeah.
It's part of Krypton. That's Superman right there.
Yeah, some kryptonite going on.
Well, I think it's going to depend partially on the minerals that are in the asteroid. So maybe that one had like a lot of magnesium or something.
To light up that much?
Well, maybe copper.
I
too.
mean, I guess if it catches on fire, it's going to get brighter as it enters the atmosphere.
Copper
Burns
will
up.
burn green, I
If
believe.
it's crashing, I say yes. If it's craft, no.
Yeah, it's hard to say if it's descending from that. I mean, it looks like a meteor, though. You know what you'd normally see if it wasn't green, like the last one we looked at. It looks like the last one we saw, which was.
Yeah.
But you don't see
Is
anything
there-
breaking apart.
Is there Aurora Borealis in Australia?
Well,
Was that-
Oh, I
like the
don't think so.
processing plant that's like down, not here. And
Superman's Australia.
you can tell like the building's not being affected. But this thing, no.
Well,
It should cause some effects in the camera. No.
Well,
It's
I
not
think it's,
real.
I think it's a few different pieces that are clipped together.
V-Star, you weren't Bob Lazar's ex-wife, are you?
Yeah, V-Star. Look, I was just reading that too. Tried to break into Area 51. It didn't go so well. I am surprised you're here talking about it.
Interesting.
So I'd like to know more about that story. What happened? How did you get? How close did you get? Did you see any sensors like temperature sensors or anything odd, any kind of security, or did you just get did you find that the yellow SUVs just come upon you? Was it daytime or nighttime? Let's hear the details on that.
I have a conspiracy theory. Maybe V-Star is an advanced AI that's appeared in our chat, and that's
maybe
that's happening.
His name Mo? No, Bob Lazar. No.
Is that Bob Lazar's
I don't know.
name?
Unless that's like a name we're not aware of.
Interesting.
Did they confiscate your mushrooms?
Yeah.
Are you sure you were actually at Area 51?
Found a hole in the fence. Okay.
A hole in the fence of Area 51?
No. Curiosity takes over when there's a hole in the fence.
I would think that fence would be like highly secured and electrocuted or something.
That reminds me of that 80s movie My Science Project. Where,
I love that movie.
Yeah, where they found a hole in the fence. They went in. They found that government depot where they stored all the stuff. Like that. They found the time travel device. Dennis Hopper was in that. It was good.
I heard.
Hey, we used
Val Kilmer in that.
When
Sentinel.
I said, was Val Kilmer in that?
No, he was in Real Genius. I think you're thinking of Real Genius.
Yeah, Real Genius is the one. Yeah.
Another good.
When I was a young teen, we used to sneak on to the Nike missile base that had been closed down. It was basically abandoned. Northwestern Indiana.
A missile base? That's cool.
Nike missile base. Yeah, but it had been closed down. We used to sneak onto it.
Cool.
Yeah, you still didn't want to get caught on something like that, though. But we were pretty.
I'm sure it still would have been technically illegal, right?
Technically, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so. Going on, and basically, did you know that if you go onto Steel Mill property, it's like you snuck onto a military base. They'll treat it the same way.
That sucks.
Not that I haven't been chased by security because I was on the Steel Mill property. Not me. I didn't get chased by two snowmobiles, me and my buddy. Nope. Yeah, we got chased 4 miles up the creek. It was in the wintertime, snow was in the ground. And they didn't know
the government.
Yeah, they didn't know that we were Indiana boys that grew up in the woods and found a log, crossed it, and laid down basically after they get done harvesting the corn in between some of the plots out in the woods out there. We hid down between two furrows and they were shooting rock salt at us. They were firing at us big time.
Holy crap.
They didn't like the fact that we got a water sample from a black pond they had back there. Because the water retention pond they had, it was blacker than midnight.
What do you think was in that stuff?
Stuff that would end you if you drank it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Radioactive.
Because when we got a sample of it, you hold it up and we put it in clear glass. You couldn't see through it. Could not see through it.
Wow.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to drink that.
And
Gemini, or are you Sagittarius bear?
I'm a Scorpio.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think you chose your thing like going into it, or do you think you're just like a bear witness?
Bear witness. Look at you. I see what you did.
See how I did that? Yeah.
Very, very, very good. Hey, I think we ought to play that theme song that Wes says should be the theme song.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
But put it full blast this time, though.
I think it was full blast.
It didn't sound.
I better check the volume because it sounds different on my end.
V-Star said she got caught. She was looking for a place to screw her husband.
That's what she said.
Sorry, try keeping our marriage fresh.
Well,
Well,
welcome to your.
It's a good excuse.
Yeah, that's all
It's a good
full
story.
blast.
Yeah.
Other
I
than
think more
the-
couples should do stuff like that. Honestly. Yeah. Or it says louder.
Yeah, you guys gonna have to turn it up because that's as loud as it gets.
Hail to all.
Hmm.
Little memory lane.
Yep.
You'll see why. Memory lane.
Which band is this?
Swear to God, man, this should be your new theme song. It really should.
Yeah, it sounds great. Yeah, is it
4 different tracks that I mixed together.
that's crazy. It sounds really good.
It sounds
it is
nothing
crazy.
like the 4 original tracks either.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really,
Very
really cool.
Yeah.
And the intros, I mean, it's
Extendo.
good. That's definitely your new intro.
Yeah, Wes had the pleasure of watching me put that together.
I did. I feel like I've witnessed history. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
very.
Started out as 5 tracks, but the 5th track
Oh,
wasn't
5
jiving,
tracks.
so I got rid of the 5th track. And I adjusted the levels to where it all just sounded like something completely different.
Well, I'm
it's really
heading
good.
out. I appreciate you, gentlemen.
Yeah, thanks
I'm
for stopping by.
Barely done, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Love you guys.
I'll pop your
All right, Immoral.
chat.
Take care. Thanks for jumping in.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by, man. Let me see.
RR says, yes, new theme song. I think so. I think that's the theme song worthy. It's pretty cool.
It's cerebral and rocking.
It rocked. It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's really cool was the 4 tracks I picked, they sound nothing like the mix.
They do. They sound completely different, like really slow and kind of boring. It was cool watching them put it together because he was talking about how he put his. I'm sorry, Bear. I've got to.
No, go
I
ahead.
got
Go
to give
ahead.
my perspective here.
Continue.
So yeah, Bear was like, yeah, every once in a while, some of the songs that you hear that I do, I just take like different tracks and I I put them together and his version of Audacity.
Hi, Nancy.
And I was like, no way. I don't believe it. And he's like, here, I'll show you. And he put it together. And as he's like, move this here, move that there, paste that there, cut that there, move that there, boom, press play, and that's what you guys got. I was like, holy shit, man, that sounds nothing like any of the original 4 songs. It's totally new. And, you know, it rocks really hard. It's really good. It really is. I was like, wow, I was like, I can't believe you did that in like less than 5 minutes time. That was amazing.
I was actually I was really impressed with myself because normally it takes me a little bit longer than that. I was in a groove.
It is. It really does. It grooves. It captures that kind of,
Hey,
you know, that emotion of what the show's going to be. And just like, you know, yeah, it really does.
Both my uncles were DJs, by the way.
Oh, really?
Well, that explains it.
My aunts taught me how to dance. I grew up with Motown, stuff like that.
Yeah, I love Motown.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and then went right around when Mike Hammer was popular, Hammer Time. I could do that dance and then some.
Yeah.
Basically, what I
What
would
do they call that dance?
I could the hammer.
Do you have the pants? The parachute pants?
Oh yeah. I had baggy dress slacks and dress shoes. Yeah, remember I lived in Gary, dressed like it. You know, you're from Gary, you're from GI. It's basically stands for Gangster Incorporated. See, I had the pleasure of growing up in 2 different places. My grandmother lived in Gary all her life, so I was always there, and so I had all my friends that I grew up with that were there. And being that I lived a whole bunch of different places, you know, I don't have one area that I grew up in other places. So I got that one thing right there. And it's kind of cool having something like that, you know, area where you're from. Even though I left it, you know, I left there to come to Washington State because it was definitely a good thing.
I'm trying to think of my favorite Motown song right now. Probably be Tears of a Clown. I think that's probably my favorite.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, V-Star, start. You could start it up. Do your live stream. I'll jump in. I'll join.
Yeah, we'll give you a post.
I'd like to hear that story.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah,
Tears of a Clown, my favorite Motown song. God, that's. Oh.
Boy, that song just leaves you with a vibration.
Smokey, Four Tops. I don't know where to go. That's tough. I mean, I love Stand By Me. The Supremes. I mean, it's so
yeah.
many
Supremes
great
have a lot of great songs.
Yeah.
I like Tears of a Clown because it tells. I love the story that it tells. I'm a sucker for a good story.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, in music or in popular media, see, that's why I joined the Fandom Menace, because I get so upset by the poor storytelling, and I just like a good story. You know, Tears of a Clown. You know,
funny. Tears of a Clown and Tracks of My Tears, both similar. Both his songs, Smokey, and they were both very similar themes.
Real quick to answer, Wookie, they're saying that it sounds like Red Gaze, the band that did Red Gaze's intro, I think. Well, the name of the 4 songs are in the info below. I didn't put the name of the bands because it didn't require attribution, but I did put the names of the songs. So I'm sure if you search the songs in the free song list that it's on YouTube, you'll probably find it.
Yeah, Marvin Gaye.
a lot of good tunes. Wow, man!
I don't know if I can pick one.
Yeah, to be taken out by your own father. Wow, what a shitty way to die.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah, Nancy, I lived some pretty wild times in my teen years. I went to high school in Portage, Indiana, and there were some pretty crazy ass dudes there. Drank lots of alcohol, did really crazy shit. I just did crazy shit smart. I ran with some very smart guys. All the people I knew were older than me. Of course, I looked 10 years older than them, and so I got to hang out with the big boys.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Weed is not the gateway drug. Alcohol is a gateway drug, man. You get me liquored up enough, I'll probably do who knows what. But
Hey,
but
we
marijuana is pretty much just the gateway to ordering, a pizza.
I have to agree with you. That's the same for me, Wes. I'm the same way. It's
I have a funny story because when the internet first came on, and you could order online in the early 2000s, we used to fuck with the pizza guy. We'd smoke out, and I left the money under the mat, and I would type these very elaborate instructions on how to leave the pizza. And it'd be fun. We just watch the pizza guy deliver the pizza. Lift up the mat, take the money, leave this much change. Leave the pizza up on the right hand side of the door.
Yeah. Me and a buddy of mine, we go to kegers in Indiana. There's lots of kegers out in the woods, and me and him, everyone always paid attention to me and him because we were the ones that always knew that the cops were coming. We had this instinct, and so we'd be drinking on the kegger and all that, and we'd know every way in and out just in case we had to find another way out. And a big clue, bouncing flashlights in the woods, that basically means the cops are coming. Because they're not smart enough to keep their lights off, the bus people. They have their flashlights on. And so me and my buddy, we seen that. And so we crossed the Indiana tollway to the apartments, and we had a ride waiting for us at the apartments when we got over there. Because that's when Motorola flip phones came out, and they were about 4 inches long, 5 inches long by about 3 inches wide by about maybe almost 2 inches thick. And a buddy of mine had one, and so he called his friend, and his friend met us. And we got to go cruising in a 5.0 GT Mustang. That car was fast.
I had one of those.
That car.
A lot of races in that car.
Stick shift. My God, that car was fast. Yeah.
I bet. Yeah, mine was pretty quick.
We went on. Back then, cruising was a very, very, very popular thing. Cruising on Broadway in Gary and cruising on Central Avenue in Portage, until they started cracking down. What ruined it was there was hotheads that would get into meaty ass fist fights, and we had friends that would always get into it, and we had to hurry up and get them out of there and hide them because cops would want to arrest them and shit, getting in the fist fights and all that, and they pretty much caused them to put an end to the cruising and people hanging out and shit. But it was the wild, wild west, man, of teenager drunken wasteland partying on a Friday and Saturday night, man. It was fucking crazy. And it's something that's come and gone. It's never happened again because they put an end to it. But it was I'd never seen nothing like it,
It's
Great.
sad that like all these classic stories that a lot of us have will probably never happen again because of all the crackdowns and just the change of the world. You had all these great stories, and even stories from like my parents' day, my grandparents' day, that you're like, oh man, I wish times were like that, and now I think like, man, I wish times were like when I was growing up because they've changed so much since then. And these kids today, I feel like their experience is just completely different. They don't live in the same world.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so far. Like, I feel like we lived, growing up, we lived in the same world, similar enough to how our parents and grandparents, we had technology, so it was a little different, but still, I mean, technology wasn't that far advanced in the 90s. We had just gotten a first home computer, but if you're in your 20s now, forget it. 20s, 30s, I think you could still relate, but 20s, I don't think it's a totally different world. It's just you can't even relate to how we grew up, let alone our parents, our grandparents.
Yeah.
Hello, Random Brad. How you doing?
Hey,
What's up,
Random,
Brad?
how you doing?
Good to see you. Yeah, man. There was some, man. I seen some crazy stuff, and I did some crazy things. I got in basically about 3 or 4 country blocks away from where I lived at. I always went over to the other neighborhood, and we used to party a lot over there. And I used to hitchhike home all the time. Get where we going. That was a thing. Everyone did it, and so this guy and this gal give me a ride, and they're driving this. I think it was a '69 or a '70 Camaro, and I realized that this guy was intoxicated because we were pretty much doing 90 down this small neighborhood country type road, And as soon as he got to the corner, I'm like, yeah, I can get out here. I'm gone. and so,
Yep.
and so basically, I didn't get down and kiss the ground and do something like that, but I sure did want to. Because he was seriously doing 90 down a 2-lane road that, it would have been dangerous to do 60 down,
Yeah.
And so when I got out, I had serious thoughts of kissing the ground.
Yep, I've been in cars under those circumstances. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm like, oh,
I think
fuck.
I chain smoked 2 cigarettes in about 5 minutes. After that, I was a nervous wreck, man. From that point forward, I never ever got in a car with a drunk driver ever again because I could have fucking died.
Yep.
Because by that time, I had already had 5 friends that had died from being involved in either drunk driving or in a vehicle that crashed that was drunk driving.
Yeah, I've had 1, 2, 3, I think now, that have died in a similar way.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
horrible.
No, 1, 2, 3, 4.
And so
I've had
I used to
3 or 4 in close calls, and one that may have been drunk driving, but might have been, a different circumstance.
literally when I was a teenager, the way I viewed things, it was a teenage wasteland. Literally a teenage wasteland. To me, that's what it was. Because I seen it every day. I mean, it was insane, man. Alcohol, crazy. I
Yeah.
probably drank more alcohol by the time I was 18 than most people will in their lifetime.
Oh,
Lifetime. And
Wow.
I was a serious little alky, man. From the time I didn't drink from the time I was like 22 until I was 24, because I moved to Olympia, and Olympia, it's like the land of microbrew beers.
Oh,
Used to go to 4th Ave Tab was a good one, but we used to go to what the hell was the name? East Side Tavern, and they had Thirsty Thursdays and micro brew Mondays, and so it was $1.50 on Monday to get a pint of beer, and Thursday it was $1.75 to get a pint. And so when I first moved there, it took me 6 months to try every beer at that place, because they would let you taste it and try it. They give you one of those fat 2-shot glasses, and they put some in there and they let you taste it. And almost everyone they let me taste, I got one of, and they never gave me a problem. They always let me taste whatever I wanted because I always got what I tasted. They're like, man, I gotta have some of that. And so it took me 6 months, and that's having like 2 or 3 pints every day for 6 months, because I worked at fast food then, and so you get off fast food, go get yourself something microbrewed from the gas station, all over the place. That's why I call it the land of milk and honey of beer and ale.
Land of milk and honey and beer and ale?
Of beer and ale, yeah.
Of beer, yeah.
Back then when I first moved here, extra special bitters were really popular, and so were IPAs, and they both kind of similar, but extra special bitter, ESB, is a little bit more bitter, and they're really hard to find now. And I used to live in West Lafayette, Indiana. It was across the river from Lafayette, and Lafayette Brew Pub was there. This is back in '98. I used to go there and get one of those Mason jugs, a growler. I get it filled with Russian bitter. Oh man, you want to talk about some ale
Russian bitter.
that will melt your toes. They'll curl backwards and melt. It's so good. Yeah, because there's basically a people bridge that would cross the river, and it was just a walk away. And I lived in Hawkins grad house at Purdue with a buddy of mine. I wasn't going to the college, so we were breaking major rules, and we were smoking cigarettes, and we were doing all that stuff. And the day that I found an apartment across the river, I was over there hanging out with my buddy, and we just got done smoking. Then we smoked a cigarette, and of course we had have you ever heard of Ozium?
No.
We had sprayed Ozium, and it's an air freshener that eats the molecules. And then we were smoking a cigarette after that, and the security guard knocked on the door and asked us if we had smoked a cigarette, and we were honest with him, we did. And he goes, also, we heard a rumor that you lived here. I'm like, oh no, I got a place across the river. We got lucky. Yeah. But yeah, that's a crazy little town. There's a bar there that's called Henry's Chocolate Shop. It used to be the old chocolate confectionery. And used to go to that bar, man. Used to get off the hook there. Them college kids there were crazy.
As far as drinking goes, I never was a huge drinker in college. Even from like 16 to 25, I was just a social drinker. A tall can or a small flask of hard liquor was enough. And it was a weekend thing. It wasn't until after I had graduated from college, I was around 25, and had been unemployed for a while, that I really started hitting the bottle really seriously. It took me a while to pull things together, but it's interesting. I realized I had a problem, still do, but it's interesting how certain events, bring out the addict in you. Be it, Great Depression or the Great Recession. That's just my experience with it, and I just found it interesting thinking about all the wild days I used to have back in high school and college. And I was actually happier as far as my drinking was concerned because it was under control. When you drink around people, you're not really necessarily as an alcoholic. When you drink alone and you prefer drinking alone, you're definitely an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Well, I think it depends on your personality type. If you're an introvert, you probably prefer to drink alone. If you're drinking with people when you're an introvert, I mean, I'm an introvert, I'm not an extrovert. I kind of, I used to have a really bad time when I'd be in public with lots of people, and I would kind of need the alcohol to numb me out a little bit. As where, I enjoyed drinking more alone because I could fire up, I could eat whatever I wanted to. I could watch whatever I wanted to. I could fire up whatever video game I wanted to and just chug a lug along, and just not really have to worry about getting from here to there, being around people. I actually really quite enjoyed drinking alone. So, I mean, there's that saying, but I hear what you're saying, Sentinel.
Yeah.
I mean, I do hear what you're saying. I mean, we lie to ourselves about addiction and stuff like that. Nobody lies to yourself better than yourself, unfortunately. And
that's absolutely correct. That's one of the few things that I've absolutely learned in my life is nothing is more deceptive than self-deception.
Yeah, and the great thing is if you've been through kind of like a process of that, and you've done the self-analyzation, some people never wake up to that, and they never realize how they lie to themselves, and so to reach that level of awareness where when you're bullshitting yourself, that's a powerful thing. That's and it shouldn't be something that it shouldn't be considered a small achievement. It really, I mean, look at how we kind of talk about, the sheep out there and people that just kind of blindly go along. And, a lot of, once you realize that you have the ability to bullshit yourself and lie to yourself, it really opens up the world to a lot, because I mean, you can check yourself on that, and then you can kind of see the world more the way it really is.
Well, Wes, what Nancy says here, I know, just thought of random crap in my head. It's too fast to live, too young to die. That's pretty much, I think that comes from James Dean song that was about James Dean, I think. And basically, I come from the land of James Deans. We were all James Deans, all of us. We all lived life that way, and we with abandon completely. And that's I'm probably going to be having one or two of my friends from the old neighborhood come on and talk about some of the crazy stuff that we've done. And we've done some crazy stuff, and we lived that way, and with no fear of consequence either. And but we were cool. We didn't go around damaging shit. We didn't rob no one. We didn't hurt no one. We were just out having a good time.
Yeah.
And may or may not have indulged too much in everything.
Yeah. So RR said something here I can kind of relate to. He said started drinking and doing other things at 13, started as a weekend thing, took on a life of its own. Just another rebel without a clue. Yeah, I think really my kind of love affair with alcohol, my parents been divorced. My mother wasn't around a lot. My older brother, I think I mentioned this in the past. So in the crummy apartment complex that we moved into after my parents divorced, his juvenile delinquent buddy, his juvenile delinquent buddy's mom was the maintenance lady, and the dad never worked. And he would just like call up the liquor store and say, yeah, my son's going to pick up alcohol. And eventually, and my brother was like 12, 13, right? Eventually it got to the point where my brother's friend's father called the liquor store so much that the liquor people, they were these old Chinese people, and so they didn't really card very much anyway. They wouldn't card at all. So he would just walk in there and said, yeah, it's for my dad. And he'd be able to get all the booze anyone ever wanted. And so I think the summer between like the 6th grade and the 7th grade, or the 5th grade and the 6th grade, there was a lot of booze around the house, and my mother wasn't really around. And that's when I really, I think, started experimenting with alcohol and drinking a lot of alcohol. Yeah, it's a pretty young age to do that kind of stuff, but that's the way it was. Latchkey kids, Gen X, that's what it was.
Crazy. All about the crazy. Mm-hmm. So how many balconies have you jumped from in your teenage years?
Me?
Yeah. I've got a few.
One, two, I don't know.
We used to party with the neighbor girls in the neighborhood, and they lived in a 2-story duplex, and it used to happen to us all the time. And it's not that we were romantically involved; it's just we were really good friends, and we liked hanging out and having fun. And there may have been mild hanky panky, but it wasn't much more than that. Just having fun, Not much more than spin the bottle stuff, but we were drinking and all that stuff. And their parents would come home, and we'd have to jump from we had to literally jump from the balcony and from the 2nd level. And there's a hill there. Whoops. That goes into the woods. So you had to be real good, because it was somewhat level where you jumped at, but if you jumped too far out, hail, snow dub. If you had jumped too far out, you go down the hill into the woods. And there was briars growing on that hill and all that stuff, itchweed and all that stuff. So that would not be fun.
Isn't it more fun to do that stuff when there's the impending possibility of being caught?
Oh yeah. And that wasn't the first time. It's happened probably 5 or 6 times a summer.
Well, that's literally the only fun thing about CarPlay. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And so a lot of times we just go out in the woods and party. Skip the whole balcony jumping.
Hey, old friends in the chat. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I'm on my phone here, so if I got a little background noise, just yell at me.
Yeah.
Sounds surprisingly crisp.
StreamYard has become mobile friendly.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen that. I haven't tried it yet, though. At least not hosting.
Right. So yeah. So I haven't looked into that completely, but I just seen it flash there. So what do they got? Like an app now?
I believe you just go straight to StreamYard.com like you normally do,
Yeah.
and it picks you up from there. I guess. I watched a little video insert that it gives you when you pop into your StreamYard. I don't know if you got that on yours or not, but there's like a little intro thing to it. Kind of gave you an idea of what's going on. Kind of.
I seen the thing, but I clicked away from it. I had my concentration on multiple things at once.
Yeah, instead of going to the desktop version, you can just do it from the mobile browser now, supposedly is the difference.
Well, at least that, because I know a lot of times control box is real finicky from mobile. I do it every now and then because sometimes on my live streams I'll go out and see if the stars are out, and I'll go to a browser window and use desktop version, and it works okay. Just a word to the wise: if you're using Yard on a browser on your smartphone, if you put it in your pocket, it's going to overheat.
Oh my God!
Mm-hmm.
Does it ever?
It'll overheat. And my phone, I was hanging out with Tommy in the yard, going different places and all that, and we were just talking bullshitting, and I had to go into a store, so I put phone in my pocket. I came out to the van, and my phone was giving me a warning: phone overheating. Closed down the browser, closed everything down. It's got a built-in protection.
Yeah, I have the same experience. It's been a couple times where I've done a stream like this on my phone, and I was on there for a good 30, 45 minutes or whatever. And by the time I got off, like the phone was so hot you couldn't touch it without,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say hurting yourself, but uncomfortable, uncomfortable hot.
I have a Galaxy S8 active. It's the military hard-shelled one with military specs. And my case was hot.
Yep.
To have it in, and I got a pretty nice little rugged case, and it was hot through that.
And it's only StreamYard. Like I've never noticed that with any other apps, anything else I'm on. It's interesting.
It's processor heavy. I have an 8-core, and the way I understand the way 8 cores work, each core acts like 4. And I produce videos on my phone because it's so freaking fast.
Nice.
And I'm really kind of ticked off what they did about the uploading on just a regular browser. You have to touch this thing over and over and over until the thing pops up so you can load your video there. And it's really irritating since they took away the old way of uploading.
Right.
Yeah,
I've used StreamYards on my phone a couple times too. That works okay. It doesn't seem to overheat as bad as, or not StreamYards. What's the other one? Streamlab. Used Streamlab a couple times. That one doesn't seem to overheat as much as StreamYard.
Yeah, I live streamed once from Streamlab, and apparently I gave it permission, and somebody tried to put a link in the chat, and Streamlab bot showed up warning so-and-so not to put a link in the chat.
It's like, please don't put a link in the chat.
Yeah, and I was just like, when did I do that? I don't remember doing that. And so Tommy timed it out. I blocked it from the channel, and then I went and looked in settings on Google, and I had given Streamlabs access to it because you do when you stream through Streamlab.
Right.
So I just removed it from Google.
Yeah, don't think I'll be using it much now that this is going to be accessible for hosting. Because it's actually a pretty good app, you know, or
Really is.
platform.
StreamYard
I like
is,
it.
yeah, it's really easy to use.
I'm waiting for them to come down in price for the full features.
How much is it right now?
Real expensive.
Yeah.
Like
It is, yeah.
over 20 something a month.
Oh,
For the-
yeah.
Oh,
That's too
wow.
pricey for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'll have to
it's
look and see what I'm paying again for that. I'm paying for it, but I
Oh,
was
you are?
I was they give you 20 free hours of streaming, right? On the free version, and I found that I was streaming more than that, so I had to. I couldn't figure out how to do
Yeah.
the other one. Let me see how much am I paying for this shit. I thought I was paying like $15.99. I could be paying more. What am I? Oh nope, I'm paying $25 a month for that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
That seems a little extreme.
But I guess if you're streaming over 20 hours a month, what else are you gonna do?
Well, that makes economical sense if you're, you know,
Yeah.
50,000 subs and
Yeah.
clocking a couple hundred a day in views. But for us small timers, it's a lot of money.
Now, once you hit like 1,000, you can stream through YouTube straight. But how does it, like, how many can you have any guests on? It's not set up like this, right? If you go directly through YouTube.
I don't think you can have guests. I think you used to be able to, and that's why StreamYard took off. Is because
he couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
it used to be
you used
Google
to have
Hangouts.
Google Hangouts. Yeah.
Right.
I miss Google Hangouts. It used to be so good. Now it's just
Well, when I started uploading videos April 9th in 2019, and my first 3 or 4 or 5 times, my first 3 times live streaming, it was by accident, and I didn't have a camera hooked up. Thank goodness.
Yeah, you don't want to get caught on camera picking your nose.
Yeah, I think the 4th time. No, it was the 3rd time I didn't know I was live streaming, and Christy had commented in the chat. It's like, do you know you're live streaming? And I was like, no, I did not.
You're live right now. You don't know it.
Yeah, because I like to just click buttons and learn stuff by doing, and apparently I live stream. And
Nice.
I test live stream through OBS, and man, you want to talk about something that'll turn your mind into spaghetti trying to use that, man. It's a complicated program, and I stream through Streamlabs for PC and for Android, and did testing the waters, doing live streams that way. And I had XSplit as well that I had live streamed on just for testing. But my something went weird with my XSplit. It updated, and I no longer had the paid version. I was like, what happened there? It was weird. But really, my real live stream experience came when I was on the 4th wave, and pretty much Steven seen something that I had going on, and I got thrown to the wolves, literally, do or die kind of thing, and it worked out good.
Nice.
One of the things that kind of softens the blow of the pay service for StreamYard is the fact that you can multi-stream through it. I guess that that way you have the stream in more than one place in case something happens. And before that, that's another thing I was doing was I would download it from YouTube and upload it to BitChute and Facebook, and now it goes to Facebook and YouTube at the same time, or Facebook and Twitch at the same time, and I don't have to worry about backing up isn't such a big deal at that point.
Yeah.
Although, that didn't help Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones got, there was a little coordinated effort to get rid of him.
yeah. That was a complete witch hunt. I mean, I don't know if it was the crazy attitude. I think it's probably more that he was going after the Obamas that got him screwed. What do you think?
Honestly, I think, there's a great interview with Valuetainment, Patrick Bet David, his channel, Valuetainment. And I recommend viewing that interview. But he's basically, the long and the short of it is, Patrick Bet David on Valuetainment had him on, and he said, okay, Alex, you're trying to sell me a house, and you're saying it's got like gold leaf ceilings and oak floors, and I just want a house, man. And I get there and I find out it doesn't have gold leaf ceilings. It's still a beautiful house, but you're overselling it. You're overselling, and your overselling is what's getting you in trouble. And so he was overselling, what's been happening with these elites. He was overselling it, and I think that was what made them go after him. I think if he would have been a little bit more careful. See, here's the thing. Even though these companies and the company policy and the leadership has a certain, bias.
Hail, Matthew Fowler. Hail, Comic Chat. Welcome.
There are still white hats and neutrals in those organizations, and if you're a little bit more careful with how you go about it, the white hats and the neutrals will at least they'll dump a little bit here. Maybe they'll do a beta test with the algorithm here to help you. And so you got to be a little bit more careful. If you just say they're all the enemy, well, then that's not going to be good. You got to realize there are white hats out there, silent white hats that don't, that just showing up to Google every day or showing up to Facebook every day just makes them puke their guts out, and they hate it and they don't like what's happening there. And if they say, well, you work for Facebook, fuck you. Well, then they're not going to help you. So, he was overselling it. I kind of think overselling it was what got him in trouble. I agree with Patrick Bet David on that point. Valuetainment.
Hey, you guys are gonna laugh.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to DJ Skandalous.
Hey, DJ Skandalous.
Hey, what's up, DJ?
What's going on?
How's it going?
Getting your channel back.
Thank you. Thank you for everyone that retweeted me.
Yeah, that was
no
crazy.
problem. Anytime.
Sorry for coming in your conversation here.
Oh, you're fine, man.
We invited you.
Oh no,
Yeah.
yeah. Glad to have you. And congratulations on getting your channel back. That was
awesome.
horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Did they ever give you an explanation?
Yeah,
Nope.
we ever get to the bottom of that?
The only explanation that they said spam and deceptive practices, even though I didn't have no strikes or guideline strikes or nothing at all.
Spam on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, and it's not like I comment on everyone's stuff, so I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know how you would even have spam on your YouTube channel.
Was it one of those bots that said, "Hey, want to be friends"?
Ooh.
No, I never clicked that
Oh, okay.
because apparently those take over your channel. Though I don't think you get a spam with that.
Yeah, when they comment on my videos and my live streams after they're done. They comment in the regular chat. I just don't engage, and if they do it enough, I remove them from the channel because they're straight up spamming the chat. A while back, I had trolls showing up in my chat. Tommy was on that one. He was modding. And
I remember that.
And yeah, you were on that one.
Yeah.
And he was coming back and just putting really disrespectful stuff in the chat. And he changed his name like 10 or 12 times just to come back.
Yep. I remember that.
Yeah, and that's when the Fandom Menace volumes was getting real popular, and the Indiegogo was successful. And that's right around when that was happening, off of Stephen Walton's book.
The author had a bunch of hoops he had to jump through too, and the split up with his editor was pretty ugly as well.
Yeah.
So he had a lot of haters he had to shake off.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got pretty much everyone in the fandom that follows my channel: Fandom Menace, Comics Gate, everyone. So I don't ever get into in between arguments and stuff like that. I figure if there's arguments, they'll take care of themselves.
Some of those comic skates guys can get a little nasty sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't take that.
It's a lot of like infighting. It's like everyone's got the same. Well, I mean, relatively speaking, everyone has the same position on, what we're trying to accomplish with all these groups. Yet there's so much infighting. It's like any group, when you have so many different minds and strong personalities, there's bound to be infighting. But the good thing is, for the most part, everyone can kind of at least get through it, get over it, eventually talk it out. It seems like, and even when things get public, a lot of times they end up going on channels and dealing with it, and putting it behind us and moving on. Unlike, I think, a lot of other cultures out there, which seem to be, the cancel culture. Like we're not really, I haven't seen too much of that cancel culture in our groups.
Yeah, we just want to keep bad writing.
Bad writing, that's it.
Yeah.
Trying to cancel culture. That's what I've been trying to do.
Yeah.
We want our heroes to remain our heroes. And if they need to write new ones, then they should write new ones.
Exactly. Better stories. Just better stories.
And I always use this example, Mercedes Lackey. She could probably have a course on how to write any kind of character. Oh.
So I did want to get DJ Skandalous's opinion on something here. Does anything jump out at you there, DJ Skandalous? I'm just curious. I always ask everybody this.
Just bad dancing.
Look at the lady in the white there. Look at the pants. Do you see anything jumping out?
I know the old school pants, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There's something kind of shaking, wiggling.
Oh yeah.
It kind of looks like a sock with a slinky filled with sand.
Is that Michelle Obama?
It is, yeah. So what do you think? Do you see it, and B, what do you think it is?
I think it has to be a sack of quarters, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Whoa.
It's laundry day. It's laundry day, and she's heading over there after this dance.
It is. 2 votes for a sack of quarters, guys.
Poor Joan Rivers. She got taken care of because she pointed that out.
Oh, that's right. Forgot about old Joan. She was supposed to live to 150.
I think she could have.
I do too. They just kept remaking her face every 5 years.
Yeah, she might have been. How do we know how old she really was?
Reanimation there, yeah.
How the reanimator?
Well, do you remember that video that we watched of a certain woman with blonde hair that kind of sounded like a certain person that we may or may not have just talked about?
Have seen that, yes.
Yeah.
Joan got gotten to.
This is a hot take, but do you think it's possible that Michelle has the dick and Obama had the badge? That's why they still had kids.
I don't think so, because there's a video of Obama where he very much has a roll of quarters too. So
okay.
On Air Force One,
oh, there's the one where he's got his leg up and yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone snapped a shot of him in Air Force One, and he's like got his leg up on like a seat, kind of spreading, sort of spreading eagle.
Yeah.
And he's just hanging out. That's incredible.
He's got pants on, but it's he's you can
Matthew, you're not wrong.
It is unsettling. Yeah.
She should have just came out, and then she could have been the first ma'am.
Hey, did you hear that Ellen got canceled?
Who?
Ellen got canceled. The show.
Ellen got canceled?
Yeah.
No way.
I hadn't heard that. I know, like Jimmy Kimmel.
It's probably a joke, but it was Jimmy Kimmel and Ellen that both going around Twitter that both have been canceled, the shows.
Well, there was someone from the LGBT community that came out against Ellen and said how, I think it was a trans person who said how rude she was to them and how they thought,
Yeah.
being in her position, like she just blew them off and wasn't interested and didn't have respect for the trans community. So, I mean, there's a lot of infighting within their group.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I read the same thing.
Oh yeah, she's supposed to be a horrible, mean
she's
person.
a horrible boss. That's what I've heard that from other people. I don't think I heard about the trans discrimination, but I definitely did hear about how she's just a dictator,
I will get some information on it. I've got a friend who actually works for her, but he just started right before the whole shutdown thing, so he hasn't been there, I don't think, long enough. But I'll try to get some feedback from him and see what he says about her.
Well, didn't she catch a bunch of heat for hanging out with George Bush at like a baseball game or something?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Photograph.
dig out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's been dodging bullets for a while.
Well, they always forget that this is the thing about virtue signaling. They forget that the time machine with photographs on the internet,
Yeah. Yep.
Uh,
And people are really good at going back and digging up the past.
yeah.
Yep.
And
That happened to me today.
when you live in glass houses,
Yeah?
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What happened, son?
I had a Twitter post where a lot of people disagreed with it, and I pinned it to my profile, so you can check it out if you want. But I was just basically kind of barking back at the whole cancel Cleveland and all these white actors stepping down from playing different ethnicities on these cartoons. So I kind of reversed it, put a post about it. Pissed a lot of people off. It was about Ariel.
Oh, was that the area? We talked about it on TR5 today. Yeah.
Yep. It was on Stefan's stream earlier.
Yep.
But anyway, she dug into my Facebook, one of these haters, and started pulling up old pictures of myself. But it was hilarious because she found a picture of me and Beverly Sherman, Richard Sherman's mom, who plays for the 49ers. So here I am standing next to a successful black woman while she's calling me a racist. Or she found another picture of me. Yeah. And she found another picture of me standing in front of Lamborghini from my video that I did.
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah.
She's all loser, and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, you always see losers hanging out in front of a Lamborghini. So it was sad seeing the attempts of them trying to dox me, but you just got to watch out because anything you leave out there, they'll find it and they'll throw it right back in your face.
Well, they're going to take it out of context anyway, so fuck them.
Of course.
And it seems like, the more people try to apologize, it just gets worse.
Don't apologize.
Yeah, they don't. There's no forgiveness. So
That actor. Go ahead, final.
No, that's all. Go ahead.
I was going to say the actor Michael Avery, the voice of Cleveland. He left to try to get ahead of it. He assumes that he didn't do anything in the past that they're not going to dig up on. So I straight up retweeted and called him a complete asshole for listening to the assholes. He should never have left. There's nothing wrong with white people voicing a black character, an Asian character.
Or vice versa. Yeah.
Or vice versa, exactly.
Well, since we invited DJ Skandalous on and he just got his channel back, I was kind of curious. I'm a confirmed metalhead, but I know that you're a big Tupac fan, so I was just kind of curious. What speaks to you about what about Tupac's music speaks to you, and why do you love it? And
Well, more so, I think hip hop in the '90s was more about storytelling, and I think the rappers back then were more lyrically talented. Now, and songs these days are just a catchy beat. You have ghostwriters that write the songs for all these rappers out today. And just repeat the same thing over and over again. None of them have like a political mind or consciousness to them. And I feel like rappers in the '90s, they spoke about things that they were witnessing going on, and you didn't have to live that lifestyle to relate to them or relate to that. So I feel like a lot of people can learn from music from the 90s, and that's why I love hip hop from the 90s, and that's why I make music centered around that as well.
It's like hip hop from the '90s was kind of like what punk was in the '70s. You know, it would revolved around like it was usually political. It revolved around a movement. It was kind of anti-culture. It was pointing out things that were injustices, and in both cases, they kind of got, made into, I don't know, what do you say, pop? I don't know what's the phrase of becoming popicized. They got
mainstream.
mainstream. Yeah, they became mainstream. They lost their edge. They lost the whole purpose of why that genre was kind of created, and and what made it what it was in the first place.
Yeah, punk was a reaction to all the dinosaur bands in the 70s that became bloated and pretentious, and it was a great return to kind of garage band roots. And unfortunately, what happened, I don't personally like punk. I like the Ramones. I think they're fantastic, the Ramones and the Misfits.
I've seen the Ramones live.
I love the Misfits. I've seen the Ramones. I've seen the Misfits. I've seen the Misfits with Marky Ramone on drums.
Oh,
the Ramones opened for the Grateful Dead once.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I was a Clash fan too. I am a Clash fan. I got to see Joe Strummer like right before he died, which is really cool.
Oh, cool. Yeah, but just to finish that thought, Alice Cooper basically said that punk was turning into disco, and it was. If you look at Blondie, when she started out, she had a kind of an edge, and then she really did basically turn to disco in like 1980. So yeah, that basically was the end of it.
Well, you're speaking of my soul food here. I grew up in the 90s, so I bought the latest Too Short tape, Shorty the Pimp, and later on I actually got to meet the guy and smoke with him and chill with him. The 90s West Coast funk really influenced me, the Bay Area rap. I love Tupac too. Eazy-E was a big influence. I love him. And I think Eazy-E still, if he would have lived a little bit longer, I think his legacy would have really grown. I think he would have been another billionaire like Dre, just because of his mindset. That guy was a brilliant businessman and a natural rapper. He's underrated, but Tupac was a brilliant poet. And I think some of his best stuff was actually when he was locked up. Some of the stuff he wrote while he was behind bars is just brilliant. And man, Soul's Taken Too Soon. The list goes on and on. One that really hurt me recently a lot was when we lost half of UGK, and Pimp C was an amazing talent, and he was one of the last ones to really push back against the feminization of hip hop that's happening today. And you're starting to see these guys wearing skirts and doing just weird pink stuff and pink hair, and it's really got a feminist style to it now, and they're promoting it too, and so I love me some 90s hip hop though, man. That's what I try to base my music off of. It's West Coast funk. Try to bring it back a little bit.
Well, in Gary, we had a little bit of both. All of it was pretty much like East Coast and West Coast, and where I lived in Miller, not too far from Etna. Then you had the west side of Gary, which was always referred to as the Little Bronx, and it was also called the Wild Wild West as well. That was his nickname, Wild Wild West. And I lived during those times when Ice-T was a thing and Public Enemy were just getting in their prime. A whole bunch of different rap artists, that Tupac and all of them. Really awesome stuff. Late 80s into the 90s. Because those were, I was pretty young teenagers in the 80s and going into the 90s. I was in my late teens, and a lot of crazy stuff going on with music and all that. Gotta say, it was fun.
Yeah, me too. Hashtag me too. I was watching the grunge explosion growing up at the same time in Seattle. Even though I was a hip hop fan, I still appreciated Nirvana and all that stuff that was going on.
Hail, Rookie.
Hail, Rookie.
Hey, what's up, Rookie?
What up?
Well,
Hail, Rookie Critic.
So, do you guys feel like music now is more manipulated by the record labels?
Oh, not even manipulated, controlled completely.
Controlled.
Very formulaic, very much not creative, not putting, the process being in the hands of the creatives.
Yeah, see, that's my whole standpoint with hip hop, with 90s music, because I feel like they don't want another conscious rapper like Tupac that has a political mindset that can rally people. So they force these young kids in there that don't have no talent, that need ghostwriters, so they can really control them.
Control them, yeah. Well, and anyone that does have that kind of platform, they ultimately seem to discredit. I mean, I look like with Kanye. I mean, yeah, he's a little out there, but I think some of the stuff he says, he's got some roots there. But they just, he's got to go away. He's having a breakdown. And I don't know how much of that's true and how much of that's the industry saying, let's push this forward to make him seem like he's crazy, so no one takes him seriously.
PR stunts.
Yeah. I mean, we see it in Hollywood with actors.
But
too,
one thing is you can't discredit timeless music, because with all these riots going on, the main songs that were getting popular again were songs from the 90s. Tupac and NWA, you got Black Eyed Peas, all blowing up the charts again.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Cop Killer by Ice-T's band. What was it?
NWA?
Body Count?
Yeah, Body
Count. Yeah. That's one of them that got trending again.
Yeah, because he actually did the original song 99 Problems, what Jay-Z redid.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Interesting.
Well, people like authenticity. It's the same reason that, classic movies like the 80s movies, the 90s movies, mostly 80s movies, though, people love that stuff still today. It hasn't gotten old because it's authentic. It had something to it that didn't seem like it was manufactured, and faked.
Let me see if my memory serves me correctly. 99 Problems, Ice-T, and your brother Marquis from Two Life Crew. Was that right?
I think he has a 91 version, and then he redid it with Body Count, I think.
Okay, because I remember there was a 99 Problems song with your brother Marquis and Two Life Crew, and I thought it was Ice-T, but maybe it was somebody else famous. I'll have to look it up. Get my Google.
NWA, that was Ice Cube, huh? That wasn't Ice-T.
Yeah, that's Ice Cube.
Yeah,
Easy
Ice Cube.
That's right. Yeah.
Easy, that's right. Okay.
And Ren, don't forget Ren. And Yella.
Yeah.
But Yella started making porn. He kind of switched careers.
A lot of them did, I heard.
Well,
Ren still makes music. I still check out some of his underground stuff, and every once in a while he comes up with a gem. You gotta keep an ear to the underground. It's still out there. Another one I thought was gonna pop was Little Peep. He had an interesting style to him. Not quite hip hop, not quite metal. It was like something in between. Something Post Malone's been trying to copy, but Lil Peep had a real interesting style to him, and boom, he died right here in my hometown from what was it? Fentanyl.
Yeah.
Fentanyl overdose laced with the pills. Yeah,
that's bad
cut
stuff.
down too soon.
Oh, was this the when the fentanyl thing hit?
Yeah. He was down here in Tucson, Arizona, about to do a show, and somebody hooked him up with some bad speed, or maybe it was Xanax. I think it was Xanax, but it was laced with fentanyl, and just a little bit of that stuff will kill you.
Yep.
Yeah, that was before it was banned.
Right.
Oh man, Wookie, you hung out with Lemmy in the Rainbow? That's awesome.
That's pretty
Was he
awesome.
playing
Hang out with
the?
Lemmy though, or are you just saying R.I.P. Lemmy? Because he was a regular there. He lived like right above it.
Yeah, he was. I saw the documentary on him, the Lemmy documentary.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
He is a he plays the slot machine.
That's slot
place
machine.
all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Was he doing that when you were there? I would imagine he would have been.
I've been there a few times when he was alive, but I never got to see him there. I've seen him in concert though. I saw Motorhead a few times, but
Yeah, they're great.
yeah, they're good live.
Good. I need to see more
Yeah,
music.
R.I.P.
I'm going to put that
Lemmy.
on my list.
Yeah, live concerts are a special kind of thing, special kind of experience.
Let me speak on that for a minute. Unfortunately, live concerts have gotten so expensive with, some of the more, popular bands that a lot of us probably listen to, that they've completely, I can't afford to go to them anymore. We're talking about $130 for a shitty seat.
Oh, yeah.
Bands like Iron Maiden charging $150 for a seat.
Maiden's the only, I've seen Maiden 19 times live. They're the only band that I'll pay. They're like my fan. They're the only band I'll pay that much for.
Yeah, I might pay that much. I mean, Bruce Dickinson, he had throat cancer and his voice came out okay.
Oh, but it's still as strong as it was.
It is. It sounds great.
I've seen the Grateful Dead 42 times.
Oh man, that's cool. Wow.
And my the second concert, we can joke about my first concert in a minute. My second concert that I ever went to was a Jerry Garcia band concert, and tickets was $15 and change plus $2 for parking included.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
it was September 15th, 1989 at Alpine Valley. It was beautiful. Beautiful.
Now it's like $150, and then
It's insane.
$40 for parking. It's ridiculous.
Well, years later, there's a campground that's right next to Alpine Valley, and that's back when they were getting rid of camping and weren't letting overnights happen no more. And so instead of parking in the parking lot, I'd get a spot at the campground, and that was always the very wise thing to do at that place, because traffic going in and out after a Grateful Dead concert or a Jerry Garcia band concert at the time was insane. Now, basically, here's the one thing, the phenomenon about the Grateful Dead that was really cool. The Grateful Dead, literally all the fans got a presidential escort in and out. Roads were closed down and open so that heads can get into a concert, and cops are lining the area, waving traffic in. We were being escorted in, and we were being escorted out. It's a hell of a thing to see. It's a hell of a thing, because there are so many people on the outside and there are so many people on the inside, because there's at least 5 times the amount of people on the outside while people were on the inside while the show was going on. Definitely one of those phenomenons for sure.
Yep.
Hey, we lose Snowdub?
I think we did.
Yeah, it seems like we did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen Steve Miller Band 2 times, because they opened for the Grateful Dead, and he played with the Grateful Dead as well. That was freaking awesome. I've seen the Ramones open for them. I've seen so many other bands that I just can't remember their name that opened for them. I've seen a couple different punk bands open for them. But I would have remembered if the Clash would have opened for them. I would have remembered that.
So, since we brought up metal, we have Cobra Kai season 3 coming out this year. They've had an amazing soundtrack in both season 1 and season 2.
Yeah.
Do we think, given where they've left off on season 2, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, the darker tone would lend itself maybe to more some Iron Maiden and Judas Priest for the soundtrack on season 3? Just curious anybody's thoughts on that.
I mean, if Maiden was on that soundtrack, I would freaking lose it. I love that show, but to have Maiden on there, I don't know. Maiden's so not mainstream. I feel like that show's too mainstream to get Maiden on. Priest is a little more mainstream. I could see Priest being on there, and I could see Johnny being in the Priest. I don't know if Johnny would have been in the Maiden. Even in his, he was more of like the '80s, like California. Hair metal, not the hair metal.
Hair
Well,
metal,
yeah, more hair
metal.
metal.
Yeah,
cock rock hair metal than the British metal, but. I could see Priest though, because Priest they were a little more mainstream. Breaking the Law was a big hit in America.
Yeah, it's mainstream. Yeah,
yeah, mainstream. So I could see him throwing.
I had the vinyl of that one when it came out.
British Steel.
Yeah, the
Yes,
icon
yeah.
you're using right now, that album. The album that's got that icon you got sporting right now.
Yeah, Screaming for Vengeance.
Yeah,
Amazing album.
Oh
Amazing.
my god, I wore that. I wore that record out.
Yeah. It front to back, that's one of the most consistent albums ever. Every song has a re-listen quality to it that is almost unparalleled.
All right,
I
can you guys,
I got to see them. I saw Priest. What was it last 2018?
Oh, on the Firepower tour?
Yeah, 2018. Yeah, I mean, man, that's another guy who's still got the voice like that. He is. Rob Halford hasn't gone. His voice has not gone away at all. Oh, that's it. Oh, his phone died on him.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, his voice is still as strong as ever. Yeah, Seventh Son on vinyl, nice.
So, can you guys guess what my first concert was?
So you said it. No, it's not great. It's gonna be something else. No, he said there's something. He's another one. Let's see. I'm gonna go with ABBA.
Jimmy Buffett.
That would have been
Wait,
cool.
Can you name the year? Can you name the year?
No, it's oh my god, let's see. It might have been 88. Think pop music.
88.
Michael Jackson?
No.
That was my first concert.
That would
The
have
Bad Tour. That was my first concert.
Awesome.
Not quite that expensive, but definitely pop music.
88.
Girls flock to it.
New Kids on the Block.
No.
Milli Vanilli?
Nope.
Girls flock to it. Pop. Girls flock to it. 1988. No, that'd be rock, not pop.
Girl crazy, man. Girl crazy.
New Kids on the Block.
Nope.
This was
This was before that.
Before that, that was late 80s.
Yeah, but New Kids on the Block was 89, I think.
Oh, okay.
These guys been around a little while.
Are they still active?
Maybe.
Pop. Like new wave?
Pop
New
music.
wave pop or
Pop music. Straight up bubblegum pop music. And girls went crazy over it.
Duran Duran?
Oh. Duran Duran. Good.
Yep.
Oh, that was
That would be
I
it.
was 20 seats away from the stage. Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow. Duran Duran, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like Duran Duran stuff, honestly. I mean, I like a lot of the 80s like new wave stuff too.
Hey, I only
Duran
went
Duran's got
because,
some great songs.
because there was a shit ton of girls there. That's why I
That's
went.
the way to do it, man.
Yeah. It was very popular with the girls. You didn't get a lot of girls at the Maiden shows, so
On the Halloween, before I turned 21, we went to one of the popular Chicago bars in Chicago.
Lose Final?
Where'd you go, Final?
Oh man, this is like that episode of The Next Generation where Beverly Crusher's friends kept disappearing.
Hey,
I don't want to be next.
What'd you do? Hit the back button?
yeah, I hit the reload button by accident.
Yeah, I got a back button in my mouse. That happens to me all the time. So it was Halloween, and I hadn't turned 21 yet. I'd be 21 in November. And the guy looks at my ID. My friend was like, just show him your ID. He's going to see you're going to be 21, and he'll just let you in. And so we did that at every bar that we went to, and they just let me in. And so the final bar that we found that we went to, it was Halloween. You know, everyone's wearing Halloween costumes. I'm out there on a dance floor getting down, you know. Friend of mine, he's not dancing at all, man. I kept telling him, like, man, you got to go out there and dance, man. And so I'm dancing with a witch and a genie. And they both go, do you want to go dance in the cage? And I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. So I'm in a cage with a witch and a genie dancing. And they got their hands all over me. I got my hands all over them. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a spectacular Halloween, gotta say.
So they rubbed your lamp.
Practically, yeah. Yeah. They had their hands all over me. And the bouncers and the people in that bar running the place, they were pretty cool about it. We weren't being too overt and all that, and we're just having a good time. What's up, Shellback?
Yeah, Wookie. Book of Souls is a good album.
So yeah, that was fun.
I liked it better than the New Frontier album.
New Frontier was horrible.
Yeah, it was just not a maiden. It seemed like it was rushed. And
I don't know
it's
if you
not
guys
a-
have ever been to the Pier. in
Brave
Chicago.
New World was great. Dance of Death was great too. I liked both those albums.
But the Chicago Pier, it's when they first built that Ferris wheel, and there was all kinds of restaurants that were near and around the Chicago Pier. It was a cool place to go to back when it was a nice place. It's back when Daley was mayor. Oh, and those were the days when in Chicago, if you stepped out of line with a police officer in Chicago, they would beat your ass. It didn't matter who the hell you were. If you mouthed off to a Chicago cop, well, state cops were worse. You would pretty much look forward to getting beat. My dad always warned me when I was going to Chicago to go party. He'd warn me about the Chicago cops. It's like, mind your manners with them cops. And he wasn't kidding. And I never personally experienced something bad because I was always polite to the police officers. Did what they said and all that stuff, and had no problems. And those were mostly at Grateful Dead concerts that were in Chicago. And basically what they told us, keep your beer in the parking lot. We don't give a shit otherwise. If you're going to cross the crosswalk, finish your beer, throw the can in the garbage before you cross the crosswalk. They didn't care. Basically, so we just basically got along to get along,
Yeah, it's amazing.
And we had fun. We had lots of fun. And trust me, them Chicago cops did not like a bunch of hippies.
No, they probably did. I would imagine.
Because honestly, there's some rude ass fucking hippies sometimes. I will tell you that. And a difficult bunch of people sometimes, But there were some really fun moments, and a lot of me and my friends and all that. We had lots of fun, and we're able to have fun because we didn't do stupid shit to piss the fucking cops off. Worst thing you want to do. I was at a Rosemont Horizon Jerry Garcia band concert in '92, and I had some friends that were from Rhode Island, and they had one of those 100-pound nitrous tanks. The thing was as long as the back seat of the car.
Whoa!
It would barely fit in the trunk. They had to have there was one of those latch seats in the back. The seat would open. It was sticking through the seat, and so we didn't go into the concert that night. We were partying out in the parking lot, and the Rosemont cops sneaked up on us and said, "Gotcha!" Ha! Just kidding. You guys need to go into the bar. Don't be out here partying like this. And they were cool. The Rosemont police. They scared the frick out of us, I'll tell you that. And so we did what they said. We went in the bar and we drank ourselves silly. Beck's Dark. Good beer.
Was the nitrous tank for just, like boosting the engine, or was you getting high off the nitrous?
Oh no, it was 20% oxygen and 80% nitrous.
All right.
Medical. He somehow got his hands on medical nitrous.
And
basically, you could put that stuff in a garbage bag, put a tube in it, and you could pass out on it, and it wouldn't kill you. Some nitrous can kill you. It's got no oxygen in it.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah. You get that nitrous from mechanic shops. It's got just a tiny bit of oxygen in it, along with sulfur. Yeah, you don't want that stuff. And so we had a real good time on that nitrous, and the Rosemont cops snuck up on us and gave us a mini coronary. Man, we jumped out of our skins, and they're like, "Oh man, you guys are all right, man. You just need to go into the bar." And
I would have urinated myself if that happened.
We were too scared to. We were still going back into our body at that point. Scared us right out of our bodies and back again. It's like, okay, yeah, let's go have beer. So we slammed 2 Beck's beer, all of us each, probably pretty fast to get over the shock. But yeah, after that, we went and hung out by one of the hotels right near the highway. It's right by 94. And so we were huffing on gas all night and listening to the trucks go by. You want to hear something really weird? Be on nitrous when semi trucks are going by the highway, when it's echoing off the walls of the building. So we were drinking like fish and huffing nitrous all night. It was fun, a lot of fun. Good old days. Back when fun was fun, you didn't have to worry about offending nobody.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And now everyone's on YouTube is getting canceled. All the big top creators now. It's a mess.
Yeah, and one of my favorite YouTubers and a friend, Nerdrotic, Gary Nerdrotic. I've watched him on his channel, and he has a code and the way he operates and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, that is really good, having a code like that and having rules for yourself. And I'm like, yeah. And so I try to emulate those as best I can, because he's been a very good example of that.
Absolutely, he's a great example of that.
Yes.
From my
Very good
perspective,
example.
he's all about the authentic and not about the.
Yeah, and so he's been a major inspiration for me.
You mean as a YouTube creator or his life story? Because I remember he did a stream about his overcoming some of his things in his past.
All of it, really. All of it. Yeah, all of it. Yeah.
That really humanized him for me, also to hear what he had gone through as far as his, past addictions, and how it was coinciding with the comic book shop he was trying to own. And it was really interesting because he had gone on to, because he like he's always reporting about the decline of the comic book industry, and he had a really kind of melancholy sense about himself when he was talking about if he probably would have closed down that comic shop if he was still operating it today, because it probably wouldn't have brought in money at all. Sadly, he had won an award for best comic shop, I think, in 2008 or something like that. So,
Yeah, all around great guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same here. A great example, both his personal story and as a YouTuber. I've had a lot of addiction in my family, and unfortunately, pretty much zero of them have gotten any help. Not to and so to see somebody that's been able to come out of the other side, it's inspiring, because it is the road less traveled. It's a lot of hard work, and then the way he's very good with his audience, and he's very giving as far as how he maintains his YouTube channel. It's inspiring.
Definitely.
Yeah, I've got 21 years clean from cocaine.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats. It's tough. It's it's the road less traveled. Most people don't do that.
That was the reason why I left Gary and came to Washington years ago in '98, and it was the best thing I ever did. That is a fierce drug. In a lot of ways, it's worse than speed in its addictiveness, the way it's done.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Lenny always said, "Don't do coke, do meth."
Yeah, and I've always been able to meditate and stuff like that, even at a young age, and even back when I was doing coke and all that back in those days. It was November of '98, and on my birthday, and me and some friends were getting high, and I got too high, and I knew it. And so what I did is I went on the couch and I dropped into a meditation, dropped into a trance, slowed my heart down, and about 10 minutes later got up and told them I'm done. I go, that was the last time I got high on coke. Done. I walked away from it. It's completely done. Didn't go to no meetings, nothing like that. I was done.
See, this is one thing I love about the Phantom Menace and people involved. Like, they're not afraid to tell you their whole life story and all their faults. And when you look at journalists and people on Twitter, like, they act like they're angels and nothing's ever happened to them.
That's exactly
Yep.
right. Never believe. I always believe an open sinner. Never believe somebody's pretending to be insane.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just my experience. They're going to be they're just they're untruthful, and they're usually the ones who've got dirt under the fingernails, not the people who have
Yeah.
lived and come through the other end.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's not just that in and of itself. It's just that they seem to think they have a lock on the objective truth. And what I like about the Phantom Menace also is that, people, this is where I'm coming from. This is my perspective. This is why I think this is why I believe this. As where if you look at the mainstream media or any of those sources, it's like, this is the objective truth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're the authority.
Well, a lot of you that have streamed with me know that I'm not a Christian and I walk the red road. What I have learned through that is those that need help have to ask for it. They have to be willing to go that extra step, because until they are, basically making them go to rehab isn't going to help them, because they're not willingly doing it.
That's right.
You can't make someone go to therapy or go to rehab, someone that don't want help. And I've learned that walking the red road, because a lot of times when in ceremony and stuff, when you're helping someone and all that, they have to be willing to ask for the help. Because if they're not willing, basically what you would be doing is giving up a piece of your life to help somebody else when you do ceremony in some cases. And they have to be willing, otherwise it's just a waste of time and energy.
Yeah. No one's going to be ready to accept help, if they need it.
When I quit doing coke, I think I probably instinctually knew this, and that's why I was able to do it, because I knew that if I went back to it, I might not live much longer, so I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to do. I'm
Oh, yeah.
sure to do that, it takes a
Well,
tremendous amount of strength.
A few things that came out of NA and AA that I did learn. I did learn that you got to get away from people, places, and playthings.
Yep.
And I did know that, and that probably served me well, because that's exactly what I did. And then I got to watch Star Wars, episode 1, 2, and 3 out here. The prequels.
How
So,
funny that, I would love to have those days again.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
me too.
Just the prequels would be like, oh my gosh, I wish.
Work with a time machine and go back in time. Just don't cross paths with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Savor this. I don't care what you think when you walk out of the theater. It doesn't get any better.
Because I went and seen episode 1 at in Lakewood, Washington, at the first tiered seating theater in Western Washington that I knew of in this region, in this area. Basically, when we got in there and got our seats and all that, it was just miraculous. You had no one's heads blocking your view. Their heads were below your knee level. And so I saw the first episode and the second episode at that one. I was back in Indiana when the third episode came out.
Controversial opinion. I think that episode 2 was the best of the prequel trilogy.
Better than Revenge of the Sith?
Yes.
Really? What didn't you like about Revenge of the Sith?
What I didn't like General Grievous and the new enemies they had. I didn't like. I didn't buy his turn to the dark side the way it was portrayed. I didn't like the end of the movie where they tried to set it up and make a bridge to episode 4. It all seemed. I would have preferred they kept it looking like the prequel era, and instead of trying to build that bridge, it clashed and it was kind of jarring for me. As where with episode 2, I felt that told a good story about what his motivation was, as far as his mother dying and being captured and tortured. That kind of made sense.
I liked it all. I did. I liked it all. Was it perfect? Probably not, but I did. I liked it all.
For me, I loved episode 1. I'm a blatant prequel lover. I love the prequels, and I'm a prequel defender. For me, my experience was loved episode 1, even though it was a little boring. Look forward to episode 2. Episode 2 was disappointing, and I really absorbed all of the extra material that was provided, from 2002 to 2005 that filled in the blanks. I'm talking about comics and books and cartoon shows. Before the Clone Wars CG series, there was the Clone Wars micro-series animation by Guinea who had done Samurai Jack, the Powerpuff Girls, and I think Dexter's Laboratory. Those were fantastic. And that got me interested in finishing with Revenge of the Sith. And so I was in sort of the opposite basket. I didn't... Attack of the Clones, for me, is my least favorite of the 6 movies. And Revenge of the Sith is actually... Well, Return of the Jedi is my favorite of the 6, but Revenge of the Sith is my second favorite of the 6. It was just... I felt... I liked Anakin as he was in the 3rd one, but I understand watching episode 2 now, why he behaved the way he behaved, upon reflection. He was a kid who was born into slavery. He had human emotions. He had a mother. And so he had all of this attachment that he was forced to leave behind to being accepted into the Jedi Order. And that was hard for him. And being a much more excelling above all of his classmates as a Padawan gave him a sense of arrogance that was palpable and believable. And so at first I didn't like that presentation of Anakin. I really liked the more mature, level-headed person we saw in episode 3. But I understand now, with in reflection, why he acted the way he did in that movie. And why he was so awkward around Padme. The guy basically had no game, you know what I mean? So he was awkward as hell around, a woman he had a real attraction to.
Well, for me, I thought that Return of the Jedi was going to be the last Star Wars movie that we were going to get, because at the time I was 10 going on 11, and I was in California when I went to see Return of the Jedi. And after that, years later, I never thought that we'd get another Star Wars movie from George Lucas. And when they did, it felt like one of those just really momentous things. And
I don't think I've ever been more excited than when I was, that whole period between the time where the Phantom Menace trailer was released, which at the time was like the most amazing trailer. And and when I walked into that theater.
Yeah, and the internet was still fairly somewhat of a new thing back when, just 6 months to about a year before episode 1 came out.
Yeah.
Well, that Last Jedi trailer was pretty good.
For like,
that's true.
So about a year before the movie was even being, about a year and a half before the movie was being considered, there was rumors floating around. And back then, it wasn't really internet so much as it was Star Wars magazines and periodicals where people were writing in comments, stuff like that, and geek magazines and stuff like that. That's where all that stuff was.
Yeah, it was the Star Wars Insider. What was the magazine that they?
Star Wars Insider was the official fan of Club magazine. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was a part of that. Yeah.
Oh, you were.
Remember
You were.
Star Wars Insider. Yeah, I got the monthly magazines that they sent, and I remember when they first announced Hayden Christensen, they had him like on the cover. I remember the photo they used for that Star Wars Insider magazine.
Those were so good.
Mhm, yeah, they were. They were cool.
Yeah.
They were really cool. I wish I would have kept those now, but I don't know.
I kept all of the ones that I had bought. I started buying them in like the fall of 2004, and I kept every single one of them until like 2011, and then I just kind of got sick of it after Disney bought it. They were printing all this dumb, lifeless shit. If you go back and read some of those older Star Wars Insiders, they're full of actual, meat that the fans loved. They had their own like fiction. They would have like little short stories in it that were part of the kind of expanded universe that would revolve around different characters, and just stuff that really meant a lot to the fans would followed it. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yep. Yeah, I do. They used to care about the fans.
Yeah, back when fans.
They used to write stuff and material that they knew the fans would like because they cared about them.
Yeah.
And now they don't.
Hey, it was, we were making headway when J.J. Abrams is mentioning the Phantom Menace, and he's being asked about the Phantom Menace.
Yeah. Definitely shows the impact.
Oh, yeah.
So here's a question.
Now it's too big. We have to acknowledge their existence. Okay. The Phantom Menace, as they call it.
What's your question, DJ?
Oh, I thought he was still going to go. Do you think George Lucas sold it more due to backlash, or do you think he just like, I already did my whole story, they can do whatever they want now?
Well, I think it was a little bit of heartbreak that he got the backlash he did from fans. I honestly think it was heartbreak.
You mentioned it was the backlash in an interview.
Yeah, I think it was definitely the backlash. It's like anything I do with the fans will hate it.
Yeah, I wonder if it was like, so Lucas is like, you know what? I'm going to sell it to Disney, and then you'll see. Then you'll appreciate me. Man, he was right.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
I thought Disney was going to understand what they purchased, but
I did too. I thought, well, they're doing a good job with Marvel, so how can they?
See, that was the poison pill that George left in the contract. If you're going to buy it, you're going to have to take Kathy with you.
Yeah, he probably do.
There's a reason why people say don't read your criticisms. It's like it goes from producers up there all the way down to YouTubers making content. It's like sometimes you just don't want to read the comments, the bad ones. You can't really, you don't want to put nothing into it.
It's kind of crazy. Like 5 years ago, everyone said how bad they were. Now it's kind of praised compared to Disney's trilogy.
Yeah,
like crap. It looks like War and Peace compared to the sequel trilogy.
It aged really well.
Those films, by today's standards, those films are masterpieces. You can release those films in the theater today, and I guarantee you, if they were released in 4K or something like that, they'd still draw an audience just who hadn't grown up with them. Like the same reason I wanted to go see, Star Wars, the special edition, in the theater was because I wasn't alive when those original films were in the theater. So that's what I think might happen. I would rather see a series with the kind of creative vision that George had for the prequels again today, because we used to get that with. I at least got that I got that out of the MCU for many years until within the last 3 or 4. And now they're just so homogenized, and you know, they're just coming out on a conveyor belt. We know what the formula is, and they're sticking to it. There's no, you know, when was the last time there was a Winter Soldier? You know, so
Yeah.
I would love to see that. You know, not all artistic, quote unquote, you know, filmmakers need to do stuff that's quote unquote boring to the masses. They can do something interesting that has a vision that's exciting, but they often choose not to because that's considered popcorn film, and then it's less of an art or less of a high art than something like I don't know, something that's films that are probably nominated for the Oscars that nobody sees. I remember a time where you went to go see the films that were nominated for an Oscars, and those were the great films that people remember: Braveheart, Titanic, Gladiator, shit like that. Lord of the Rings.
I don't know about Titanics there, Sentinel.
All right, I'll give you that.
Well, I know what Sentinel's talking about. There's some things about the Titanic that are kind of cool. That showing the ship and all that, it looks really cool. The Titanic looked cool, and I could see what he's saying there.
I brought up Titanic because it was such a massive hit at the time that still drew people in, because at that time there was so much of a mystery and a what if, you know, involved with the Titanic, that people wanted to see that dramatized and given its kind of tragic trajectory in film form. And that's exactly what James Cameron delivered. You know, he gave us a story that humanized the people who experienced that tragedy.
Yeah, I'd have to say that's probably very true right there. Brutus to Caesar, job on him.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's pretty appropriate.
At 2, Kathleen Kennedy.
40 plus
right
years of Star Wars books out there. Kennedy's saying they don't have stories to use. And directors like Johnson just cherry picking what he wants and ignores the context.
Very true.
Yeah.
I mean, they had George's own treatments, you know, that they could have used.
Well, he was going to double down on midichlorians, so I don't think I probably would have enjoyed that very much.
Okay. I have the director's cut of Troy. And I have the drawing a blank. Greek hero.
Achilles?
No, keep going.
Odysseus?
About the same year, we're close to each other, of Troy.
The Odyssey?
No. Famous guy, conquered all of everything back then.
Alexander
the Great.
Oh, Alexander.
Yeah.
That's right.
I also have Alexander the Great.
That's Colin Farrell movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought Troy was the Colin Farrell movie.
That's Brad
No,
Pitt.
Alexander the Great's. Yeah, Troy's Brad Pitt.
Ah.
Both
Okay,
great.
yeah, I saw Alexander the Great. Then that's what I saw.
I've got the director's cut, and man, let me tell you, it's freaking long.
Like 4 hours, right?
It's long. But yeah, it's I love it. It's a great movie. I can't remember if I have the director's cut of Troy though. I might.
I think I have the director's cut of Troy. I really like that movie. It's
that's
different than the Iliad story, but I really had hoped they would have made the Odyssey because Sean Bean, you know, the actor who is Ned Stark, he played Odysseus, and he was great as Odysseus, in my opinion. I had really hoped that, you know, Wolfgang Peterson, I think, directed it. I really wish he had done, you know, a proper sequel, and a proper sequel to that film would be the Odyssey.
I was 14 when I read the Iliad and the Odyssey and Odysseus.
It's really awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's awesome epic.
I had the Iliad, a really old brown hardback book. I ran across it. It was in my dad's book collection. He had a lot of the Greek classics, and my mom couldn't find that book, so I bought one with the Iliad and the Odyssey. Really nice, blue bound and gold gilded on the edges and all that. Beautiful book. But I found the original and I got that, and I read that book. I was 14. I read it in like 5 hours.
Whoa.
Wow, that's a long. That's a large.
Yeah, you must be a really fast reader there.
And then I read it again. It was that good. Yeah. Yeah. For me, when basically the way it is for me when I open up a book and I start reading, it's like turning on the TV. Only difference is I'm submerged. I'm in it. That's how it is for me. Buddy of mine, Shane from back in Indiana, he gave me this funny look. He goes, "What do you get out of that?" And I thought about it for a moment, and it's like, well, you know how you turn a TV on, you watch a movie? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, that's how it is for me. Only difference is I'm completely in it. And he was like, oh, okay. But yeah, Terry Brooks, favorite author. David Eddings, one of my favorites. Robert Jordan. Yeah, good stuff. Like the fantasy stuff. I read some science fiction here and there too. Ender's Game, that was a great series. Read all those.
Did you see that movie?
Yes, I did.
What'd you think of it?
I thought it was all right. I thought it was all right. You know, sci-fi movie books, it's real hard to get those 100%, and it was okay. It wasn't bad. It could have been better, but I thought the character was. I thought it was all right. I thought he did a good job. The main character.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping they're going to do another one because the story's not over. It's just starting.
Yeah, it's that. I guess they would have to recast because he would be too old now. I mean, that movie's quite a bit older.
Yeah, but
I imagine they could use it because he didn't age that much, right? For the books, he's relatively still young, right?
He does a lot of traveling though. In a few of those, he's gone for years. At one point, I'd have to reread the whole series because it's a great books. Yeah, it's a whole series. I forget how many books there are. I don't even think I have those books anymore. But yeah, David Eddings was one of my favorite authors. Back before Parkinson's basically did him in. Basically, his wife helped him quite a bit. Leah Eddings. She was basically his editor. Great team because toward the end, her name was also on the books as author as well. Before the Parkinson's completely ruined all his motor functions and his cognitive skills. Great author. Robert Jordan, you know, he passed before his series was done. That was pretty sad because I don't think the story went exactly the way that he would have taken it. Bleeding John Connor. Okay for the sequels. Yeah, what'd you guys think of the John Carter movie?
I didn't see that. That was a Disney. That's Disney too, isn't it?
I think so. It was all right. It wasn't exactly like the book because years ago I read one of their. I got my hands on one of the original paperback publications. It was old, and I read it, and it was all right. It didn't exactly land the way they wanted it to, I guess.
Was the tone off?
I think there was some storylines that was probably overlooked from the book that they didn't use.
My biggest criticism of
I think they changed something. From what I can remember, it's been years since I've seen it. But yeah, it's book adaptations to movie. Basically, I would say probably the most successful series is probably Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Most successful book adaptation.
I thought it was, well, I haven't read the books. I did read the Hobbit series, but I thought Lord of the Rings was a snooze. I know that's fighting words to some people, but
yeah, my when I was real little, my mom used to read the books to me for bedtime stories.
Jurassic Park too. That's another pretty popular big book that was novel that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but the third one was horrible.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't think there was a book for it anymore. I think there was only one book, wasn't there?
I liked the third movie. Controversial opinion.
What, the third one?
Yeah, the third movie, the Jurassic Park movie. I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I didn't like it as much.
TT says that John Carter movie blew the budget big time, and then they screwed up the advertising for it, and nobody went to see it in the cinema.
Yeah, I can attest to that.
Because I rented it when it came out on DVD and Blu-ray. I rented it.
You ever go to a movie that's a real stinker and there's only like 2 people in the theater? How awkward is that? Almost makes you want your money back.
It depends. If it's a movie that's crappy but still kind of like fun, then like I don't mind it. I kind of like an empty theater. But if it's
me too.
Yeah, like I don't really mind that. It depends on how. I mean, if it's just a terrible movie that's not even enjoyable, that's one thing. But if it's a bad movie, but it's like, well, this is bad, but it's kind of enjoyable, then I don't mind.
I don't know. I'm just saying, I could have watched it at home. I wouldn't have had to drive and pay money. And
yeah, but it's like you're watching it at home, but you've got the whole theater to yourself and a huge ass screen.
Theater smells like feet. If I wanted to smell feet, I could be at home.
There was I can't remember if it was I had a movie that was kind of like that, but it was a date. And it was at a little small movie theater in Hobart, Indiana. Little I think it was only 2 screens. And I can't remember if it was a story about Geronimo or one of the popular folklore characters from those times. Can't remember if it was Geronimo or someone else. But the movie wasn't that good. It was okay. And it was just an awkward kind of date. And yeah, I think that would probably count, maybe. Yeah, something not so good. And there weren't a lot of people at that movie either.
Well, hey, I guess a date scenario would probably be better with an empty movie theater.
And she was a glasses-wearing, cute, blue-eyed little redhead, and it was just awkward. It was. So the movie just felt awkward. It was just, it was. Glad it was over. That one probably could have used some whiskey.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that probably counts as the one of the bad movies, yeah.
So I liked Prometheus. I thought if Prometheus was untethered from the alien universe, it probably would have been a good movie.
That's exactly what I thought.
Well,
People didn't want that, though. That's the problem. I like Prometheus, and I think if there were concepts in that should have been explored, but people wanted the alien. And here's a hot take. Aliens is an overrated movie, and it led to the series being centered around Sigourney Weaver's character Ripley. And it created a sect of the fan base that associated it simply with Ripley, where the star of that series is the alien. And knowing that, the backlash that Ridley Scott got for that film, as flawed as it may be for some, was undue and unfair, I felt. I really wish he had been able to do a proper sequel to that and not just make Friday the 13th with, the alien, basically. Because that's what Alien Covenant is to me. It's Friday the 13th with alien.
I wonder how much screen time, though, the alien has compared to, like, Jason, or Michael Myers or Freddy. I wonder how much screen time, because I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But I don't know. I don't know. Like, Halloween's a good example, because you have, like, Ripley character would be, like, Laurie Strode.
Yeah.
And, but I don't know. I feel like Michael Myers has a lot of screen time. I don't know if I feel like the alien actually has enough screen time where you would, because I think Halloween, I think Michael Myers first, and then I think Laura Strode, and then there's Professor Loomis. But with Alien, I don't know. I do think Ripley first, but because she's so focused as the main character, like I think there's more focus on her in that movie than there is on Laurie Strode in Halloween.
Well, see, now you've got the wheels turning. It's like, who's the star of
Yeah.
Who's the main character in like 2001: A Space Odyssey? Is it the HAL 9000 or
Howler,
is it David Bowman?
Hey, you guys mentioned Friday the 13th. Little fun fact: Jared Padalecki, he played in one of the Friday the 13th movies.
Yeah, the 2009 remake.
Yeah, and it wasn't bad. It really wasn't.
I saw that. That was it wasn't that bad.
He was pretty good in it.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. I didn't like the Nightmare on Elm Street remakes.
Oh, that was horrible.
Yeah.
No, they didn't have the same punch.
No, they lost.
Bother with it.
Yeah, no.
What about Freddy vs. Jason?
Awesome.
I like that. That was freaking awesome. I saw that.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Best versus movie ever.
Yeah. Yeah, their fight was just so it was so good.
It was hilarious.
And I love the last scene where Jason's coming out of the lake and he's got Freddy's.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's
That
smiling.
was good. Yeah, he's smiling.
Hey,
That was
Curtis,
really well done. Really well done movie.
Curtis.
Hey,
White-
little Curtis.
Hey,
Yeah. When I went and seen Prometheus, it was 2 weeks after opening night, and the theater was half full.
For which movie?
Prometheus.
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, that's not a good sign on opening night.
No, 2 weeks after opening night.
Oh, 2 weeks, and it was half full. Well, that is good. That is good. Yeah, I liked Prometheus. I thought it was beautifully shot. I thought, again, if it was untethered from the alien universe, I probably would have really, really loved it. Dude, and like some of the creepy shit that happened in that movie, like her going into the machine and getting an abortion with the alien.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was.
I remember watching that. And I
Yeah.
was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
The movie left me wanting to know more about the engineers, and then we didn't really get much of that in Covenant, I don't think.
No, we didn't. And
No.
we should have gotten the engineer. And Michael, the android, kills off. And see, I don't think that was the engineer's homeworld or was intended to be. Maybe it actually is in the film. But killing off the engineers like that was a stupid decision.
Mm-hmm.
And he did it because he had to showcase the alien.
I don't think it was supposed to be the homeworld. I think they had landed there at one point.
It almost looked
That's
like
the feeling
a
I got
religious
too.
colony.
I didn't get the feeling that was supposed to be their homeworld. But
Because
I
it
don't know.
was so
Maybe
much
it
more
was. But I also agree with you. I didn't feel like it was.
Well, and then they killed the chick off
that was the
screen
worst.
between the movies. I mean, what the hell?
That was the worst. Newbie's character, Elizabeth Shaw, was the only reason I wanted to see a proper sequel. Well, I wanted to find out more about the engineers, but she was one of the most compelling characters about Prometheus. Her and the android Michael were the most interesting things about that movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen Ad Astra yet.
I haven't seen that either. I
Curtis
heard it
Woodley,
was.
seen it's good.
I heard it was okay, but I haven't seen it yet. What did you think about Alien vs Predator? Another first movie.
I have it. I like it.
I like it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool too. The whole pyramid thing at the end.
Yeah.
Is that the one where they're in Antarctica?
Yeah.
Yeah, they go underneath and there's like a pyramid underground and
Yeah. There's a couple different Alien versus Predator.
yeah, they made a couple sequels, didn't they? I think I've only seen the first one. I don't think I've seen the sequel or if there are there two sequels or just one.
I think there's just
There's two AVP sequels and there's three Predator. Well, if we're not counting the Predator, there's three Predator movies: Predator 1, Predator 2, and 2010 Predators. There's two AVP movies: AVP in 2004 and AVP Requiem in 2007. I prefer AVP Requiem in 2007 because it centers around one badass predator going to Earth to clean up the mess and fighting a pred alien. Whereas in AVP, it's more showcasing how badass the alien or the xenomorphs are, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen Requiem.
RR is right. That was a planet that the engineers had created.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
I can't remember the guy on YouTube, but he talks a lot about Alien and Alien Covenant and Prometheus. Pretty good too, actually. Explains it real good. What I'm hoping for is I'm hoping that we're gonna basically get some kind of explanation about the engineers, you know?
Yeah. I'm
It
hoping.
sounds like it's dead, but
Yeah, I know. I know.
if they would maybe pretend that Covenant didn't happen, maybe they might have something.
Yeah, see, I would like to see that the engineers come back and come after David. I would like to see that.
That would fit in well to the idea of David being like a fallen angel archetype, where he has grown beyond his creator and is a rebel destroying what the engineers have created. There's quite a Lucifer God parallel in that sense, I noticed.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah, I'm not surprised.
Oh my gosh, 5 years old.
When I was 10, I
Jeez.
thought The Thing was a good movie to go see. Nope. Scared my ass right out the theater.
I'll scare the Leprechaun movie.
Oh, I love the Leprechaun movie. Shine your shoes. Oh, shine the shoes. Got to shine the shoes.
That
They like throw shoes. They throw shoes at him to get away because he had to stop and shine them. So good. So good.
If you're young and you're watching the Leprechaun film, you don't realize how much comedy is in it.
Yeah. The same thing with It. When that came out, man, I was a kid when I saw that, and that freaked me out. But it also has a pretty good amount of comedy in it. It's creepy comedy.
Yeah, now I look back at it, just see it as a comedy.
Yeah, you see it. There's so many funny moments that Tim Curry adds. Yeah, and Leprechaun as well. What about Leprechaun in Space? Did you guys see that one?
And there was one called Leprechaun in the Hood too.
Yeah.
Oh, Leprechaun in the Hood. Yep.
Yeah,
You're right.
that one.
You're right.
There were some humorous moments in that one.
Oh yeah.
Friend with weed is a friend indeed, but a friend with gold is the best, I'm told.
Oh man.
Where's the gold?
And that's what's his name? Willow and
Yeah, Wicked.
Warwick Davis. Yeah, Wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. The Leprechaun movies. See, they don't have like, what's a good horror franchise these days that have that kind of charm?
Jeepers Creepers.
Is that these days though? I feel like that's pretty
Yeah,
old.
it's kind of like more than 10
Oh,
years
okay,
ago,
that's
right?
a good point.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, the first one was 2003, and that's cool.
You have It, but that's more like a family
Well,
movie now.
Yeah, that's a remake, like something
Yeah, it's
new
not
that's
scary.
like you had in the 90s. You had like Scream, which was like the comeback kind of slasher films, and then you had the Saw franchise in like the 2000s, but that was not like a charming kind. Well, not charming. It didn't have like the same essence of like the 80s slasher films. That was more like, let's make it gruesome. Let's see how gruesome we can get. Which is a little different.
Well, I'll say the modern one is The Purge, but that's not really as.
The
What
Purge,
about
yeah,
the
that would be
Annabelle?
right, but that doesn't. Huh?
Yeah.
What about the Annabelle series?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I like Annabelle.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah, Annabelle. That's a good call. That's probably
I-
right.
as a rule, I've seen some really real crazy things, and I tend not to like poltergeist type movies because I've seen some poltergeists up close and personal. Yeah.
Mhm.
If you've ever seen a dryer door slamming open and shut really fast, and the closet door across the way slamming open and shut really fast, it's a hell of a thing.
Or Wes coming out of his TV.
I was jumping out.
Or it could be you in Parallel Universe doing laundry.
Oh,
That too, yeah.
Let's just say that every hair of my body was sticking up on end, and all the hair on my back, all the spine was sticking straight up. Oh yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, that was a rock and roll night, let me tell you.
Yeah, I mean, but there's movies like that, like Annabelle, or which are like the poltergeist kind of movies, which are a little more kind of serious, freaky. But then there's like Leprechaun and Freddy and Jason, which they're kind of campy. They have a comedy about them. It's, even though it's death and killing, it's it's kind of like, man, don't take this so seriously. That's what adds I think the fun nature of those movies. And I don't think there's a franchise like that these days.
Yeah, read RR's comment here. Do you think that would have made a better Prometheus movie if that was in there?
I think that would have been a much more interesting, because Prometheus had a lot of the alien for creationist stuff in it.
Mhm.
So I think that would be ripe for dramatic storytelling.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very kind of fallen angel sort of plays on like biblical themes.
Yeah, which is what really was all about too. He's very into that.
Build a really good story. The weavings of a good story, weaving back and forth, telling us what's going on with it. That's what I like. I like the good storytelling.
The image of it like almost like a quasi xenomorph doing the Jesus pose on the crucifix was on top of one of the iconography on inside the chamber where they have the black ooze, I think. So Ridley was going for that, interweaving the Christian mythology within that film. It's too bad. I really would have liked to have seen where he would have going to go with this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But this would have been for the next movie. Was that what you're saying, or this was an idea that was scrapped?
I think for the Prometheus first movie, yeah.
Oh, okay. This was going to be for that.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have the rest of the story told, because we only got part of it.
Yeah.
With these two movies.
Those kids would have been scarred for life. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Again, you know, I mean, okay, so Prometheus, if it was untethered from Alien, you know, the Alien series, and if Covenant was untethered from Prometheus and was its own thing, I think that would have been a good movie. If it wasn't tied to Prometheus, I actually kind of liked Covenant. I thought David was a good bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so did I.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, insanely.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the things I did like about
Yes.
yeah, one of the things I did like about Covenant was that they introduced an upgraded David, who was a good guy. So that twist at the end was, you know, pretty decent.
That was a
You
good
saw
choice.
it coming.
Oh right. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, if
Yeah.
you want to go biblical, I guess you have kind of like a Cain and Abel situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, do you think
Well, 5
really
films planned.
did they really have enough for 5 films?
Was it supposed to lead up until like where Alien started?
That's what I had hoped it would do.
See,
I guess if you have 5, you know, you could span that out. I don't know. 5 films just seems to be a lot.
seems
It
to be
does,
a
yeah.
bit much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 3 films he could have done it.
Yeah.
What I think Prometheus takes place in late 2080 or something like that. What year does Alien take place in? 21, 28, or something like that?
It's a good question.
It
Trying to
is.
think.
Look it up here.
I know Alien,
2079.
2079.
Yeah, the first film takes place 2079. And it was filmed in 1979, so it was 100 years later. Wow, Alien was So when does Prometheus take place? Has to be before that.
2089.
Well, 2079. The first Alien film takes place in the year 2079.
Really?
Yeah, that's what. Well, that's what I. Yeah, that's what it says here in sci-fi. Well, let me see. Let me go to a different source and see.
You know, Wikipedia says 2089. Elizabeth Shaw discovers the star map of Scotland.
2089. So it's somewhere between 2079 and 2089. Then, yeah.
And if it's leading up to the events in the first Alien movie with Sigourney Weaver, that would have been several time span of several decades, if not more than that, over a century.
Well, a century would put us when the movie actually was created. 1979 or 1989, depending on when it.
I did notice that Wookiee Supremacy, Tom Hanks' new movie.
Okay, it says Prometheus 2089 to 2093. Covenant will be 2104. And then Aliens 2122.
Maybe they retconned the dating when they did Prometheus because they figured, well, now that it's the year 2000 and in our real life, we have to span this out more.
Yeah, so Covenant and Aliens about an 18-year difference.
Hmm. 18-year difference.
Well, the look is close enough to where I guess I could probably buy that.
Well, where I'm looking, it's not. They're giving the years when the movies were made, but they're not giving me.
Yeah, I found an article on Cinema Blend. If you type in Alien movie timeline.
Alien movie timeline.
The biggest thing that I wanted to have answered, and I think a lot of fans wanted to have answered who were there from the beginning with the first movie Alien, is when they walk into the ship and they find the fossilized space engineer. It takes a long time for something to be fossilized.
Yeah,
So,
Oh, yeah.
was that? Yeah.
So dust and sediment had fossilized over everything, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
That's a long freaking time, man.
Yeah, so I was always wondering, you know, was that ship that crashed, was that a ship that crashed there many years prior to the event in Prometheus?
Right.
And if so, you know, was the engineer infected with a xenomorph? Because didn't the space jockey in that have like a bursted chest cavity?
Yeah, I believe so.
11 years difference between the two. It's Alien 2122. So they'd have to explain the time mismatch. Would they do? Go through a wormhole or something? Go back in time by accident? Because the jockey had fossilized years of sediment on top of it.
Yeah.
And so it had to have been there a hell of a lot longer before Prometheus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, I did notice that. I couldn't remember what it went to, but I noticed it went straight to a streaming service. Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
And it just appeared out of nowhere, man. Like, wow, where'd this come from?
What was the movie? Was that the one he was filming in Australia?
The movie Greyhound. It's about basically carrying supplies, tanks, ammunition, stuff like that during World War II. And they're being sunk by German U-boats from the preview what I've seen. And it looks good.
But this movie wasn't funded by Apple, right? Did they just have rights to it now?
I don't know. I mean, it just literally the ad just popped up today. I seen it today. And I've been see movies here and there on YouTube on my TV and when the ads pop up. And I normally don't watch, but it looked interesting, so I watched it, and it actually looks like it might be good. And it's kind of funny. It went straight to a streaming service. So yeah, the fact that there is a really good possible chance that Apple may have funded it.
Mm-hmm. Well, eventually that's all it's going to be. Everything's going to be released to streaming services. It's just the beer bug is pushing it forward faster.
I wonder if Hollywood would have the balls to accurately depict the communist revolution in China during the 1950s. If there is a story there that's worth telling.
Oh, yeah, that would take some balls.
Yep.
Huge.
I mean, if they didn't give a shit about how well it did in China, I'd love to see it. I read a book called Little Red Book Diary back in junior high about this woman's experience as Mao was taking over in the 50s, and it was intense. That should be adapted.
Yeah, there's a lot about the modern rise of China. You know, it's interesting because they seem to think, you know, being as old as they are as a nation, you know, they have a destiny. But it's interesting because when Mao took over, a lot of what they did was destroy their past and destroy that really ancient architecture and buildings and the art from back then. It's really kind of disturbing. So really, I mean, China, modern China, it's much younger than the United States, really.
I don't know why they didn't put Black Widow on Disney Plus either. I think in their hubris, they still want that big theater release. And they could have cut out the middleman. They could have cut out the theater entirely.
If I remember correctly, I think Steve McQueen played in a pre-World War I movie. It was about a ship, and they were in China. I'm trying to find it right now, looking at his movieography.
Yes, Wookie, that is exactly what the commies are doing here. A person who lived through the Venezuela communist takeover posted a video on Twitter that I retweeted detailing how afraid she is for our country because this is exactly what the communist takeover looked like. And she mentioned, don't think it can happen to you because all the people that I knew thought it couldn't happen to them either and blew it off. And then it did happen.
Yikes.
Soldier in the Rain. Is that it? No. Yeah, Steve McQueen was in a lot of good war movies. Hell is for Heroes.
Great Escape.
Yeah,
Sure.
Escape. The Cincinnati Kid.
You know, my mother on my 19th birthday bought me Bullet. And I, to this day, still, the movie Bullet with Steve McQueen, I to this day still haven't seen the entire movie. I only have seen the chase scene.
Okay.
Oh man, that's a good movie. I just rewatched it recently.
I found
Bullet's great.
I found that movie. It's called The Sand Pebbles, 1966. In 1926, U.S. naval engineer gets assigned to a gunboat on a rescue mission in war-torn China. That's a really good movie. And I think they were fairly honest in this movie about what was going on there.
Was that the war where the Japanese invaded?
Maybe. It's been years since I've seen it.
Japan and China have had a very similar relationship that England and France had in the past up until World War II, where they would just fight like cats and dogs every couple decades.
Basically, he was the character was assigned to the gunboat USS San Pablo, assigned to patrol a tributary of the Yangtze in the middle of exploited and revolution-torn 1926 China. And so that's the basics about what it's about, storyline. So yeah, that would be a really good movie to watch if you want to know about some of that history, because it's based off of stuff that happened. How much liberty they took with the story, it's hard to say. It's a 1966 movie, but he's those are some good movies that he's in. I love Bullet the best. That was a great car movie. If you like car chase movie, that's a good movie.
Bullet and The French Connection kind of defined car chases going forward.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
But I gotta say, my all-time favorite car chase guy, Burt Reynolds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Smokey and the Bandit.
Smokey?
Well, you got White Lightning, Gator. Then you got there was a not Kurt.
Cannonball Run.
That was
Cannonball Run.
after, but a lot of these older movies that they paved the way going in.
There's the original Gone in 60 Seconds. That had an awesome chase scene.
Oh yeah, I've seen the original Gone 60 Seconds.
The Nick Cage one ain't bad either.
Yeah, actually,
I like the Nick Cage one, yeah.
I actually prefer the Nick Cage one.
It's pretty good.
I like the soundtrack on the Nick Cage one, and I think the Eleanor is a nicer looking car. I never really cared too much for the 71 to 73 Mustangs.
To Live and Die in LA had a really good chase scene also.
Swing down, swing down now. Down. Yeah, that was good. That was a good movie.
Let's see here.
I remember thinking that Fast and Furious was a cool little cult movie. I never thought that thing was going to turn into anything.
Yeah, neither did I.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's got some good car chase scenes.
Oh, man. Great movies.
But then
Right.
it turned into like a Michael Bay movie with a bunch of explosions all the time.
Great car popcorn movies.
Yeah, it really did. Like International Spies. I'm like, whoa, dude. They're just,
Mhm.
they're just car thieves and street racers, man.
Yeah, they really expanded that.
It
Well,
sort of went to
you got-
the same tack. Go ahead.
Well, you got movies like Stroker Ace. You got movies like Hooper, and Stroker Ace came before the before Smokey and the Bandit, I believe. Great movie. If you've never seen Stroker Ace, that's a good movie to watch. It's about the early days of NASCAR, or whatever they were calling NASCAR in that movie. But it was pretty good. It's got one blonde, Bonnie something. I can't remember her last name.
Have you seen the movie Ford vs Ferrari?
No.
Yeah,
That's a pretty good movie.
It was a pretty good movie.
very good movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet either. I heard that's really good though. You guys
Yeah.
all liked it?
It just shows you how they screw people over.
Yeah.
Oh, and then
I was surprised that Matt Damon was able to pull off Carroll Shelby, because Carroll Shelby is very distinctively Texan, and Matt Damon was able to pull it off. I was surprised.
Not bad for a Boston kid.
basically after White Lightning had come out, the next movie that came out was WW and the Dixie Dance Kings. Now, the character for Smokey and the Bandit, it was basically being developed in these early Burt Reynolds movies and these chase movies. And then after that movie, Gator came out, which was the sequel to White Lightning. And then after that, you had Smokey and the Bandit after that. But that WW and the Dixie Dance Kings, if you've never seen it, man, you got to watch that. It's an awesome chase movie. Great movie. Can't seem to find Stroke Race in here though.
I agree with TT when he says, I recall when I watched the first Fast and Furious, I thought to myself, this is just a complete rip-off of Point Break. Just swap the surfboard for cars and it's the same thing. I agree, which is a testament to the Fast and Furious, because they still had to create something that was entertaining and separate from those two movies. But you're completely right. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, Stroker Ace came out right after Smokey and the Bandit 2. And after Cannonball Run. Good movies, man. What's really weird is Smokey and the Bandit 3. I don't really remember Burt Reynolds being in that movie.
I don't think he was. I think it was he just did a cameo in 3. It was the other guy that did most of the other movie.
Yeah, it was
What the hell is that guy's name?
Reeves.
Jerry Reed.
Jerry Reed.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And he did all the music for a lot of those movies.
Yep.
White Gator, he did all the songs for those movies.
He did the Smokey theme, right? Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of his songs that was in the movies that he was in with Burt Reynolds. Yeah, Gator, there was one of his songs that was in that one. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that White Lightning, some of his songs was in White Lightning. But yeah, great music of his. My grandma liked him. And she didn't even know anything about Smokey and the Bandit or anything like that. She just knew him as a country western star. She loved all that stuff. So let's look at the next UFO. Get back to that.
Oh, you guys talk sci-fi aliens and stuff on here too.
We talk about UFO sightings, Bigfoot, stuff like that. Oh yeah. Speaking
First
of,
ladies with rolls of quarters in the pocket, all of it.
yeah.
Basically, I noticed X-Files type stuff. Pretty cool. Conspiracy.
Mhm.
stuff.
I think it's more in search of. There's in search of and unsolved mysteries. Yeah.
Yeah. God, that Unsolved Mystery show was awesome. Really awesome. Especially when they did the Alien episode. Especially with the, the little vignettes where they would recreate, scenes from, the personal accounts of people over there. I freaked out when they started showing, actual gray people, the aliens. Because I was like around 10 at that time, and that just, I don't know.
I remember that. Yeah, that was freaky stuff. When they do the little like flashbacks, like
that and then
that
the
was
Tales of the
freaky.
Crypt guy would come on afterward. He scared the shit out of me.
The Crypt Keeper.
Yeah.
The whole UFO thing really, I remember, was so big in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, what's that moving around back there? Oh,
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. Yeah. Wow.
It's too dark to be a kangaroo.
I mean, it's possible because wasn't there like 30 humanoid-like species on this planet at the same time before,
Yep.
Too dark to be a kangaroo.
Yeah, I've had an experience.
It's hard to see.
Let's just put it to you this way: when they run, and when they want to make noise, they shake the freaking ground. That's what I can say about that. I experienced it.
I saw something running across I-5 in Oregon late at night. That's all I can say. It was on two legs, and it looked like that.
But it wasn't Harry Henderson, right?
It looked just like Harry, Harry from Harry.
All right.
Have you guys seen a documentary called Missing 411: The Hunted?
I've heard of that. Yeah, I was going to rent that.
Man, it's good. There's a story of these guys, these campers who since like the 70s were going up to this one area. I believe it's in California, and it's kind of around Yosemite from what I remember from the documentary. And they actually caught this audio one night. This thing happened all the time, this occurrence, but they caught audio one night of these creatures that were, I mean, you got to listen to it because they play it in the movie, and it's like, it's weird. I mean, it sounds like they have a language, it's not a human language, but you can definitely tell that they're communicating with some kind of verbal communication. But it's all on audio. It's interesting and kind of freaky.
I follow a Predator fan channel, and the first I heard of that documentary from a video that said, if you like the Predator movies, watch that documentary. So is there something about
there is well, there's the last story that they tell. It goes over, I don't know how many, maybe there's like say 8 stories or something, 7 or 8 different people, and the last lady she's outside of her town, and I don't remember where this was. I think it's East Coast, like Massachusetts, I want to say, somewhere around there. And she's outside of the town in the woods a little bit, and it's at like dusk. And there's a big football game, so the band's playing, this school that's kind of close by. And she goes off and she wants to hunt. I think she's, I don't know, like shooting quail or some bird or something like that. And she's up in a tree, and she says she's talking about this story, and then they have a recreation, so that she didn't actually catch anything on her video. So it's her story, and then they made a recreation. But she says she's looking over at a tree, and it's as if like a fog hits her and she doesn't really like actively know what she's doing, and she sees this creature that go like this huge creature that's on the tree, and it goes from one, like it grabs it, the tree next to it, bends it over to it, and like climbs onto the next tree. And the way she describes it, she says it's like it has like a camouflage, so like a predator, a camouflage where she's almost like seeing through it. She didn't know it was there, other than when it moved she could see like the shimmering change of light reflecting off of this like camouflage, outer whatever it is, shell or whatever it is. So I think that's probably where that's coming from. It is very like predator type.
Yeah.
Interdimensional.
Yeah, I would say it sounds like it.
Wow. When you talk about Bigfoot and the folklore, and a lot of native tribes have a lot of folklore about Bigfoot, as around the world, and what their different names are for what Bigfoot is. And I understand that Sasquatch is a mispronunciation of what the actual name is. I forget the word, but it's really hard to pronounce.
Do you know what it supposed to translate to? The actual
it's a
is there a translation?
It's a coastal language word, and it's very, very hard to pronounce.
Is that one of those where you pretty much have to pronounce every letter? Sasquatch.
It's because yeah, and so when you're talking about Sasquatch or Bigfoot, you got to talk about stick Indians. You know what a stick Indian is? They're about as tall, but they look like a walking humanoid-like stick.
Oh,
yeah.
Are there features or no features?
They look like a walking stick.
Is this also what's called like the not the shadow? Was it Shadow Man? Yeah, Shadow Man, Thin Man.
Maybe Thin Man, but
yeah, there's like that urban legend of like the Thin Man.
Out here, the coastal natives refer to it as stick Indian, and
stick Indian.
What they do is they imitate your whistle.
Huh.
They will convince you that you're whistling, and you'll whistle. There's a big reason why natives around here don't whistle at night. And, because basically what stick Indians do, according to folklore, they carry dust with them, and they'll sprinkle it on you if you whistle. And the story goes that if they do sprinkle the stuff on you, that it will allow you to see everything that's ever happened in spirit. Everything. Think about that.
So it like opens your eyes to the spiritual realm.
Yeah. Think about seeing everything that's ever happened in spirit.
No, I think that would drive you crazy.
Experienced by spirit, because reincarnation, spirits coming and going, being physical beings, going back to spirit. And so that will basically drive you insane.
Yeah, that make you go crazy. It's kind of almost like the Rodney Piper movie that we.
They live.
Yeah, They Live. Yeah, it's kind of almost
Great
like that.
movie.
Well, this is considered a very real thing, and it's treated as real. And I've seen it. I've the first time I felt them, I was at a powwow, and there was Sasquatch and all around surrounding the place, and they were there because they're considered guardians, and they were at this particular powwow. This was a very powerful powwow. It was the Chief Leshite powwow in I want to say summer 2003. And man, it was a salmon bake. It's traditional food. Gooey duck, oysters, clams, king salmon. Man, it was just, and everyone was fed. Everybody at that powwow. And so after everything settled down, the power was over. People were hanging out around the dance field and all that, and somebody whistled. Man, my friend that was with me, he was Crow Nation. He ran fast to a pole that was under a light, and he wouldn't move. He would not move for about 30, 40 minutes. And I finally convinced him, let's go back to the tent and all that. And I told him I'll smudge around the tent and all that, and all that, and it'll be okay. And they were very, very active. The Stick Indians were. You could hear them running because they make a wind when they're moving around running. They make a wind like wood noise. It's really weird.
Huh.
And I wasn't actually able to see them because they move fast, and they're probably as tall too, maybe a little taller, but they're communal. And so
Now, is the belief that they're interdimensional or spiritual?
well, when it comes to stuff like that, nothing to do with science is really ever considered because it's not a thing. They don't. Nothing mixes. Period. No mixing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No mixing of different ways together. That's considered bad. And so when I had that experience, I got really familiar with it. So when I was out in Indiana during the summer, I was driving down. I was going from Gary into Portage on the Indiana Tollway because it was a quick highway exit jump, get on 30 cents for the toll, and then get to Portage. It was a nice to basically avoid being harassed by the Portage cops. Get there quick and get out. And so I was coming because right as the toll, they got all these lights. It's all lit up. It's lit up for about I'd say a good mile before the exit. When it letting you know you got to get over for your exit, it's lit up really good. And this thing ran across the road, and when it ran across the road, it stopped in the middle of the road, and I kind of felt like it kind of looked at me. It was short, and then it kept going because it knew I'd seen it because I'd seen it.
It was short.
Um,
You're saying that whatever it was a short thing?
No. It stopped for a short second.
Oh, okay. Stop for a short second.
It was almost unnoticeable. It happened so fast, but I felt like this thing seen me, and I immediately started singing a native song that I knew. Oh yeah, those things freak me out. I don't whistle at night. I've seen it with my own eyes that those things are real. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I started singing Child Song. And yeah, it passed. Like, yeah, that was and I'd never seen one before. I'd always felt them and heard them, and I knew they were there, but I'd never actually seen one. And I got to say, it was very unnerving. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've had some other experiences. Yeah. So yeah, that was very interesting when it comes to Bigfoot and they're communal, man. It's a thing. They're always around. When one near, it's almost guaranteed for the other to be near too.
Yeah, the video, this documentary, I mean, there's definitely at least two of them, and they are communicating with each other, and also I think trying to at least alert, maybe warn the campers, the hunters up there that they're in the area and they might not be wanted. It's unnerving listening to it. You guys can check it out if you can find it. It's interesting.
When it comes to Sasquatch country, if you're in it, if you're respectful and you treat the land with respect and you're nice and all that and not disrespectful, you got nothing to worry about. It's that simple. But it's like my teacher told me that they were guardians, and that's kind of what they are. They're guardians to us, and so long as if you're in their territory, you're on a trail that's where they happen to be at and all that, just be respectful. That's all you got to do. They believe it or not, manners do go a long way.
Well, interesting that you say that, because in this documentary, it these disappearances, it goes through a number, and I mean, it's not saying that they're all Sasquatch. That was the only one that was specifically. Some of them are just they don't know. They just have these stories where these people disappear. Sometimes they find body parts. Sometimes they find skeletons, like much later. But they're all hunters.
They've been known to stick their head in an open window and yell at teenagers for partying. Yep. Yeah.
That would be, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would end the party.
Okay, yeah, it did, and they knew if they didn't tell mom right away, they knew they would be in serious trouble, because mom kind of knew how to talk to the Sasquatch, and so yeah, they told on themselves. First thing she said, "What's wrong? What happened?"
I imagine you'd be like white as a ghost if you witnessed that.
Yeah.
But I've heard other stories of people that were in, I guess, the wrong area, or there was a lot of banging on the doors and the sides of the house and things, out in the cabin, out in the woods, and nothing. They don't try to break in; they just like shake it up and alert you, like you're not wanted here.
Well,
but it's rarely caught on video. That's why that video is interesting that we were just looking at there.
Yeah. Yeah, I am. It's the first time I've seen that, because basically I did a UFO search on Twitter, and it happened to be amongst my search.
Yeah, it's a lot of times they, it could be grouped together as interdimensional type things.
So what did you think of that Pentagon footage? I think it was like last month or 2 months ago.
Hey, Steven, how you doing? I think there's something there, because they now have a policy of disclosing.
Yeah, what would be the reason to them releasing that and just like confirming it? Well, it was already leaked, right? So they just confirmed it.
Yeah,
I think that also, there seems to be a slow movement towards disclosure. Most of the governments in the world have already admitted that there's something going on that they have been watching for a while. I think also with the added fact of everyone has cell phones and everyone's catching more on film, because before it's easy to cover things up when what are the chances you're walking around with a camcorder at the exact time something happens and you catch it, and it's easy to kind of dismiss it. But now with cell phones, everyone's got a camera with them. Everyone catches things, I don't know if you know, DJ, but my wife and I were out in Joshua Tree in California for almost 2 weeks, and I've caught for a week straight, there were all kind of crazy lights in the sky, and I was able to film all this stuff. So it's like, it's hard to keep hiding things when there's so much, there's so much evidence to the fact that there's something you're not telling us. So I think they just figure, well, we can't really hide this stuff anymore, whether it's them doing it or not, whether it's like the military crafts or not.
Well, that's a really good point.
I think it's one of ours, honestly. I think those craft that showed up, I think they're experimental craft that we have.
It could be, yeah.
If you think about all of the smartphones with cameras, really good ones, high upgrade smartphones getting good video, and also with things like Twitter and in some cases now Parler and social media, people are not really. They're stopping watching news because they've started to figure out that the news has been lying to them and deceiving them and not really telling them what they really need, and which is basic, reliable, real information. And when you got YouTubers all over the world that are saying, "Hey, look at this! Wow, look at that!" And it's like they're starting to become irrelevant. because they're really not needed, because it's going to come to a point to where if someone needs to know something, they're going to go search it on YouTube. It's already happening. You need to know how to do something, you can find it on YouTube. Current events going on here and there, you can find some information that the media is not going to talk about. So they're being bypassed in this way because they're starting to become irrelevant. And basically what they're going to have to start doing is they're going to have to start telling the truth. They're going to have to start reporting the news again and not reporting a scripted plot line.
Or forcing YouTube to boost their YouTube channels, which I think it's always happening with the late night shows and everything else.
Right. You know what's really weird? You would think that YouTube, when I'm watching on my TV, you would think that it would default to CNN or something like that. It doesn't. It defaults right to Fox News. And that's weird. It doesn't matter what I'm watching. When I'm watching, it always ends up on Fox News. It's like, I'm not watching that. You know, I was watching stuff about planets, watching stuff about...
That's the same with me. I never watch Jimmy Kimmel on here or nothing. I still get his damn recommendations.
Yeah, and you know what I do? When I first open up my YouTube page, I go down the line, and I look for the stuff that they're recommending, I hit the little X. But you see, it takes several times to get them to stop popping this fluffy stuff up that I have no interest in.
I wish there was some mechanism that would just allow you to block any content from a channel you didn't like from showing up in your recommend or even in your search result. If I don't want to see a video from a channel I don't like for whatever reason, for my personal reasons, I don't want to ever see that video recommended. That's one of the features I wish YouTube would include.
I would like to see a feature or a tab for creators only, and then old media only, like the corporations.
That's actually that's a really good
great idea.
I don't think they'll ever do that though.
Probably not, but that's a really good idea. Yeah.
Are you listening, BitChute? BitChute.
The one thing that I did hear about Parler is you have to give them your ID or license number.
What?
ID or no?
I signed up there. They didn't ask for none of that.
Really?
I signed up too. Yeah, no.
That's my fake news.
Yep, fake news. See, that's disinformation. No, I just signed it. They just want your email, like anything, email and.
I did it on the PC though, so I don't know how it is on the phone.
Oh.
Well, I don't think it would be any different. I did on the Mac, but laptop, but I don't think it's any different. TJ, what's your name on there? Jeremy from.
It's the same as this one, but it has no space.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I don't think you have spaces on there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Where'd you hear that? That Parler required your license number.
Oh, I seen it on Twitter, but I was.
I found
it.
Driver's license number? Is that what they're asking for?
No, they don't. Well, they don't know.
You gotta think about it. There's a huge movement, and there's two different sides to it that are working against each other, and so one or the other, they put disinformation out there, and I think that's what that is.
I think you're right. That's a great way to prevent people from starting on another.
Yeah, because I was like, why would Jeremy for Geeks Gamers sign up there if they asked him for that? So I thought it was fake right off the bat.
Yeah. I wasn't sure. That's why I put it out there to get your guys' opinion about the matter.
Yeah, no. It just asks you for choose a screen name, a password, and an email. And that's it. I'm FinalDeathStar on there. The same.
I get pretty distracted with Twitter by itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to stay out of the drama.
Well, there's already Parler, which is an alternative to Twitter. It's only a matter of time until if YouTube keeps doing the things that haven't used DJ, eventually there'll be another platform. It might take time to grow, but
or censoring Donald Trump and everything else they do.
Basically, what they're saying use Parler as a base of operation and use Twitter as the battlefield.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
That's what Q said.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that was mentioned in a Q. Okay, interesting.
And there's some people in QAnon saying that as well.
Interesting. Interesting.
Use Parler as your base of operations, and use Twitter as the battlefield.
Do you think Twitter will buy Parler if they're successful enough?
I don't think Parler will sell. If that's the reason that Parler exists, they won't sell because they're not in it for that reason.
Until they are.
Well, I guess it depends on who's really
big enough
running.
check.
I
I don't know.
Yeah, it depends on who's running it. I guess.
So yeah, that
It's true though. Yeah, it's true. You never know.
Yeah, there's battle going on for the lever to the picture show.
Yeah.
I mean, look how many times Microsoft stopped doing the Zune. Then now Mixer service they gave up on and sold it to Facebook. You know.
Yeah, Zoom.
Anything can be bought out or just discontinued.
Isn't Zoom?
That's true.
And the Windows Phone.
Yeah, that didn't last long.
Yeah.
Isn't Zoom made by a programmer in China?
TikTok is. I don't know about Zoom. Maybe.
I heard there was a weakness in Zoom.
I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see. Made in China.
I thought I heard someone say that it was.
Yes, it says the software appears to be developed by 3 companies in China, even though it's operating in the U.S. as Zoom, and the company's listed on the U.S. NASDAQ.
Did you hear about that propaganda news organization that got shut down over here? It was ran by China.
No.
Yeah. Remember remember when the president asked the reporter in the briefing who she was with?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that organization.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember that. He called her out and asked. Yeah.
Basically, they were operating as spies, basically. Well, you want to get right down to basics, man. All the news media, they're spies, basically.
Yep. Well, it's all run by 6 companies.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it funnels back to 6 companies.
What's his name was CNN? He worked for the CIA.
Yeah, Anderson Cooper.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had an internship there.
Yeah.
Like an 18-year-old kid. Like, who was the CIA go after? Yeah, it's very interesting.
Very telling, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you got the Access Media, who's just marching along like good little soldiers, you know.
Yep.
Yeah. But 1 foot forward, and hopefully you get another foot forward before you get forced back a foot, and then keep marching forward. Keep demanding good stories.
Mm-hmm. That's all I ask is a good story.
The way I like to do things is I like to play around with it, kind of talking code a little bit, and just have fun with it, and work within their rules, so that way I don't get bumped. Because I haven't had a live stream pulled down yet.
I've had a bunch of them pulled down.
Depends on what you show.
I'm careful. We get a little crazier on Wes's channel. We talk about some crazy stuff.
YouTube's weird though because some stuff like people can upload it be okay, but if you re-show their upload, then your stream goes down. Because that happened the other day on John Talk's show.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's happened a few times on John Talks. I've been on 2 different.
He showed a Junk 3PO video and it took him down.
Oh, wow. Yep. The bots are working overtime, man.
Oh, I mean, it has to be a bot because no one can be, keeping track of all that stuff. So it's got to be bot activity.
Well, that's the same reason my channel was taken offline. It was most like the bot, that did it.
Yeah.
Do you remember hearing about JFK grandkids singing the song Timber?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I showed that video on one of my live streams. Sound and all. It was only a hair more than 2 minutes long. Yeah, I showed that. Yeah, and I got away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if they've ramped up the bot thing since then, or if it's just
that was close to the end of March.
Yeah,
it was right around right around the whole mess.
Yeah,
right around when I was probably 3 days before the lockdown happened. I knew it was going to happen. before we've been referring to it as the pink elephant.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there are people that are being paid to just run through live streams and
I wouldn't doubt it.
See if there's anything, report it. To help the bots out, help the algorithm a little bit.
I think there's people out there that would probably do it for free.
Oh yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah,
that's probably true.
I bet you the people who are in charge of that aspect of YouTube, I bet you they're people that they brought over from China, because they would know how to censor, that kind of information, or to at least surveil it well enough.
Yeah, when it R makes a good point. Yeah, we don't deep dive on my channel. We just keep it nice and light.
Not on my channel.
Yeah, we get a little out there. Yeah. So yeah, you guys want to wrap it up? What we'll do is we'll say your channels and all that. DJ, put a comment in the chat and I'll mod you.
Sure.
Where you can throw your link in there.
Yeah, I get it right here. Hold on. You guys can go ahead and I'll put my link up.
Yeah, I can mod you right from the chat. Put a comment in there.
Let's do this one. I'll just put a comment because I don't think I put a link up without being a mod.
Yeah, there you go. Because I can mod you right from the chat. All right, you're a mod now.
Okay, thanks.
We have a wrench. So, Sentinel, you got a wrench. So, all fellas, go ahead and throw your links out there in the chat for those. We had some new people in the chat that I never seen before, so they can sub your channel.
Link don't work. Yeah.
Oh, I'm currently on StreamYard right now, so I can't type into the chat. I could type into the private chat maybe, but I'm not on YouTube currently. I can't have that many tabs open; it'll just crash my browser. Right now, I got an older computer. Would you like me to do something else?
Let me find your link for you.
I think I've got your link somewhere there, Sentinel. Maybe I can pop it in there.
Do you?
Oh, thanks, guys. Yeah, that would be helpful. Yeah, you can find me, the Sentinel. I make pop culture related videos, music videos, and I do kind of satire stuff. I'll make fun of people. I'll call some stuff out. It's basically a channel where it's my own little hobby, but you might, if you're into the stuff I'm into, check it out. You might like what you find.
I got it, Sentinel. Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go. If you've got it. Yeah, I'm watching the stream on YouTube too, and YouTube's running way behind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are.
It seems a lot farther behind today.
Yeah, and those of you that were new in the chat, if you're still there, I just put Snow Dub's YouTube channel link because he was on earlier before his phone died.
Thanks, R. Thanks, FinalDeathStar, for doing that.
Yeah, you got it.
Thanks, Final.
So he has done whole stream on his phone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I remember you guys talking about that.
StreamYard just became mobile friendly now because I have overheated my phone with StreamYard.
Yeah, I have a Galaxy. I'm afraid of that.
Yeah.
Galaxy S8 Active. Yeah, I put it in my pocket. Big mistake. You got to keep the phone out where it can get plenty of air. And if you're in your vehicle and you got it over your steering wheel, turn the heat off.
I wonder if they'll make any new phones, that are more StreamYard friendly. I know that takes a huge amount of processing power to be able to do that in real time. But, maybe we'll get that eventually. Well, I don't know if anybody streamed using an iPad.
I have an 8-core in my phone.
Okay.
Processor-wise. and basically I can produce a 20-minute video probably in less than 5 minutes on my phone. Because what I'll do is I'll put the screen recording together, and I've already got the intro cuts and the outro cuts ready, and the backgrounds ready, and all that stuff. Different ones I can put in and take out. Because I use Cyberlink Power Director on my phone. Because I've used desktop version, and I created all my particle effects and all. It was like learning science, man.
Yeah.
Enough to hurt your brain. And I got everything now pretty much no sweat. Just set it up and let it go.
It's great. Reminds me I got to get a more updated phone. I'm still using an iPhone 5 from 2013, and I like it. I'm used to it, but I never would be able to do the kind of stuff, the newer phones can do.
Right. My mom was talking about getting a new iPhone. I'm like, you won't like it. There's a lot of optimization stuff that my mom won't be able to do no more.
Yeah, my mom's exactly the same way. I keep telling her.
My mom got a Note 9.
Okay.
Yeah, and no, she will not be happy. No way. Yeah.
I hate it when my phone even updates. Sometimes I'll change the icons and stuff disappears.
Oh yeah.
I've experienced. I've had. I had a theme set up on my Galaxy 8 Active, and when it updated, all the dark menus got replaced, and there was white in my menus again, blinding. Turn your phone on middle of the night, and a white menu, get blinded. And so I had to refine all themes that would make every single menu gray or black. Yeah, I've experienced that. I just got my wife a new smartphone, LG G7 ThinQ. Imagine that, a ThinQ. But it's got an 8-core processor too, and it's a really good phone for the money. $134 for a smartphone that originally retailed for almost $800. Not bad. So yeah, now that you guys got all your channels out there, we can rock this one out. This is Wes got to watch me take 4 tracks. I'll find some tracks from the free YouTube music section that doesn't require any citing, and I put 4 tracks in and I mixed them together. 4 tracks, and the only thing that was really similar was either the drum beat or the bass line, because that's what I listened to. Hail, Shadow Man, we're getting ready to rock her out here in a second. And Wes watched me do it because we were on a live stream, and then he watched me go through the process, and it took me probably less than 5 minutes to put it together. And
it was amazing.
Normally it takes me about an hour or so, but I was really focused, and I was in the groove, you could say. So let's rock this out here. It'll have the little intro first.
Thanks, Aurora. Appreciate it.
Oh, everyone, I appreciate you guys too.
No sound.
Is it just that sound, or
yeah.
I don't hear nothing?
Yeah, there's no sound. I think you forgot to click the share audio button.
Yep, I did.
It's like I see it moving.
And I've been doing so good. I got stream brain. All right, let's do this again.
It's not a record tonight, but we've gone a long time. But it's been a great stream. I mean, this has been amazing.
It really has.
I think our record is 6 hours.
6.5 hours.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks, Shadow Man.
Thanks, Shadow Man.
Were you guys sober for the whole stream?
Fairly.
Yeah, for that one, half of it maybe.
All right, how's that?
Yep, we got it.
Hail to all.
Little memory lane.
This makes so well there. Really well done.
Yeah, I get the feels from it for sure. And all these thumbnails I've made myself. Past, future.
I remember that Riders of the Storm.
That was a past thumbnail. Yeah, that one slipped in. Well, thanks for coming out, chat. It's been fun. Thank you guys for coming on the panel. Always a blast. Always a blast. Thanks for coming out, DJ.
Yep.
And, you know, we got one of the best chats on YouTube. We got one of the best communities. We've been through a lot together. So hell to you, hell to us, and have a great night. And we'll see you next time. Hail.
See ya.
Yeah.
See you.